Sports radio is back.
McDavid trying to come in with speed. Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. The Oilers captain with the overtime winner.
The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Pretty good contact here as he hits it to deep right, and he's hit it out. Now that's a birthday present that George Springer just gave himself, and the Blue Jays have the early lead.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Howe slinging it to the end zone. Was it caught? Yes! McLaurin! Touchdown!
A positive Friday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Also coming to you live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Love having you. Happy to have you along. So it'll be good. It is the final preseason game for the Edmonton Oilers. Thank goodness. 8 preseason games. Come on. Let's call it what it is. Cash grab. Nothing more. You don't need it. There's no reason to have 8 preseason games. You know what? The league has a minimum requirement you have to play. So why not just have a max? Minimum 5, maximum 6. Done. You could start the season earlier, which means you would have the Stanley Cup playoffs starting earlier. Stanley Cup final starting earlier. This would be good. Very good. So, dare to dream, hockey fans. We know that Gary, unless it's his idea, there's no chance he'd ever want to do it. Even if it was good, he'd be like, yeah, but it's not my idea. I don't want to do it. That's lovely, Gary Bettman. But we can keep talking about it because hopefully one day, there won't be 8. Oilers, you don't need 8. You don't need 8. There was 9 teams this year that played 8 preseason games, and 4 of them at least had split squad games, 2 on one night, where the Oilers, remember they used to do that with the Flames? It was usually on like the Monday after the weekend of training camp would start on a Friday. You go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boom, 2 games on the Monday. Got rid of 25% of your games right there. It was great. But alas, not the case. But if you are going to the game tonight, you're going to see a pretty NHL lineup for both clubs. McDavid, Draisaitl, Kane, Hyman, the top 6 are in. Bouchard and Nurse are playing. Broberg, Desharnais, Ceci are playing. Campbell's starting. Fogel's playing. Janmark's playing. Ryan's playing. And then you have guys battling it out. Ernie, Peterson, Raphael Lavoie. Tim Gleason's going to play because Matthias Ekholm is not ready yet. And nor is Brett Kulak, which is, here's the one caveat when you talk about the Oilers roster. Because the Oilers don't have any cap space, right? They're carrying a 21-man roster. Now, you would have about $300 and some $1,000 if it's Lavoie on the lineup in extra space that you could accrue over the course of a season as long as they don't go into LTIR. And then you'd have just over $400K if it's Peterson. All right, but either way, they don't have enough to have a 22-man roster. It's not going to work. But now I'm not saying this is going to happen, especially after speaking with Matthias Ekholm today. He sounds very confident. He didn't want to say 100% that he'd be ready for next Wednesday. I think he was being cautious. But he says this injury has kind of lingered a little bit longer than he would expect. That's why he was on the ice finally today with his teammates. But he says he's felt good. He's had a few good days in a row, and he is hoping that this means he'll be ready for next Wednesday. Ryan McLeod, very confident that he'll be ready for next Wednesday. But now there's Brett Kulak. Brett Kulak wasn't even on the ice today. At least I didn't see him. So I'm pretty sure he wasn't out there, but I was talking to some spec and a few others, and they're like, well, I wasn't paying that close of attention. But I didn't see him walk off either, so I'm pretty sure he wasn't out there. So here's the one caveat that you should keep in mind for the Oilers and the salary cap. So they can have a 21-man roster. Anybody who's on the IR still counts on your roster. It's only LTIR that won't count that opens up cap space for Edmonton. So if they have one guy who's nicked up, and you don't even have to put him on IR, there really be no benefit, right? Usually how IR helps you is if you have enough cap space, you put a guy in IR, you can recall someone else because the guy in IR doesn't count on your roster, but he counts against the cap. So for Edmonton to put a guy in IR, there's really no benefit because they don't have the room to bring up anybody else. So let's just say that Kulak can't play on Wednesday. So they'll have 6 other defensemen. And here's the what. Big if, somehow, some way, Matthias Ekholm couldn't play, then the Edmonton Oilers would have to keep Gleason on the roster so they'd have 6 defensemen. And they'd have to send both Lavoie and Peterson on waivers. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But I'm giving you all the scenarios that you can expect. The waiver, waivers for the Oilers, because all of their players that we think they're going to go down, Broberg's not going down, Holloway's not going down. Holloway, by the way, is not playing tonight. Ryan McLeod's not playing tonight. And Brad Malone not playing amongst the forwards. So, Brad Malone, I expect he hasn't played the last 2 games. He's going to go to Bakersfield. If you look at the Oilers, every other player has to clear waivers. So you have to have your roster deadline set by next Monday at 3 p.m. Edmonton time, which is Thanksgiving Day Monday. Maybe you'll have turkey leftovers. Yummy. So good. By Sunday at noon, when they have to put the players on waivers who have to clear by the next day so you can make your roster, that's when we'll know who's going to make the opening day roster for the Edmonton Oilers. You'll know Sunday at noon at the latest. Maybe even earlier, but at the latest, Sunday at noon. So it is interesting. If Kulak's injury is just kind of, short term, and I haven't heard anything to suggest otherwise, and on a rare, maybe not rare, but on a low percentage chance that Ekholm's banged up, the Oilers would then have to keep Gleason because I'm assuming they want 6 defensemen in the opening night lineup. And then that would mean both Lavoie and Peterson would go on waivers. So just painting all the pictures for you. I said Tim Gleason. Obviously, it's Ben Gleason. So Tim Gleason, his cousin, in fact, who played for the Carolina Hurricanes many moons ago. So other news and notes from the game tonight. Kyler Yamamoto will not be going for the Seattle Kraken, but their lineup, pretty solid as well. McCann, Beniers, Eberle, their top line. Schwartz, Wenberg, Burakovsky, their second line. Tolvanen, Yanni Gord, Bjorkstrand, their third line. And then they're going to go with Carty and Tanev as the right and left winger. And I'm not sure if it's Belmar or Shane Wright. I think it's Belmar, but I can't say 100%. And then on the back end, Vince Dunn, similar situation to Matthias Ekholm. He got back with his group today with skating, but he's not going to play. So they'll have Evans with Larson, Dumoulin with Schultz, Alexiak with Borgen. So they're basically playing their whole lineup. Grubauer starts in goal. So this will be a good test depending on the intensity and pace of the game. But this will be, without question, the best preseason test for the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to quality of competition. So if you're going to the game tonight, it should be a decent one for you to watch. So there you go. Hey, Greg, the good news is the preseason games at least start on time. Pillman, I like your attitude. Go on a positive Friday. I also don't appreciate the subtle little trying to irritate me, even though it made me laugh. Trust me, we both know the start time in the NHL is like the worst enforced guideline in pro sports. I don't even know why they put it out there. Right? Just list the game. It'll start when we want to. Here's the timeline. Anytime between 7 and 7:24. That's pretty much the window you have. Maybe you should be in your seat early, but let's be real. You never have to be early. The earliest would ever be 7:08. That would be the earliest. It never starts at 7. So there you go. You can always get involved. You can text us 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Stop in right now at Jiffy Lube and you can get a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change and get $50 bonus air miles right now at Jiffy Lube. Also, we have a lot of texts to get to. Lineup today, Farhan Lalji will join us, talk a little CFL, the Elks. Ooh, baby. You're telling me there's a chance. Now, mathematically, the Elks have a chance. They'd have to win all 3 of their remaining games. Saskatchewan would have to lose 2 and tie 1 or lose all 3. If Saskatchewan wins 1 game, they're in. Calgary, if Edmonton wins all 3, then Calgary would have to win all 3. They too then would be in. So Elks need a lot of help, but it's pretty tough because they are taking on the best team in the CFL record-wise right now, Toronto, who is 12-2. But Edmonton, I think we all know they're looking forward to next season. Tonight's a really good opportunity to just kind of test themselves, see how improved they are, see where they stand against the league's best. It'll be a tough test. Calgary has the bye. Saskatchewan is hosting Hamilton, where Bo Levi Mitchell, Connor Halley, coming back in to the black and yellow, which a little surprising because Hamilton's kind of rolling all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they paid the premium to get him there, right? Wanted to make sure he was their guy going forward here. I don't mind it necessarily. Like, I think when you look at the big picture here, you're getting closer into the playoffs. Maybe you want that experienced quarterback under center. Things can change, but right now you're going on the road to take on Montreal. Yeah, I'm going to be intrigued to see what he can do when he gets back out there.
Now, are we interrupting you on the show today live? Like you're typing feverishly away? Are you doing something over there?
I'm doing a lot of things over here. Yes. I'm making sure we're sharing all the links that people want to watch us on Facebook, on Twitter.
All right.
Getting a bunch of stuff ready. But yes, I'm busy man back here.
Oh, well, no. Well, I just like you were typing out a hate message there or something. It was really pounding the keys.
Bad Yelp review. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
No, nothing like that. Just, my usual thing here. It's not a quiet keyboard.
Oh, it's the keyboard. Oh.
I could go gentle, but you're still hearing it,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll talk over here.
Hey, guys, hockey's back when Greg's has ranted about NHL start times. So true. Man, the NHL is brutal. Walnuts in the park. Yeah, it's true, Walnuts. I know. It's the thing that, trust me, it sets me off, and it shouldn't. Because you'd think at this point I'd know how idiotic it is, but that doesn't mean I can't still talk about it because it's moronic. All the other leagues can do it. Hey, first pitch. Guess what? When you watch the baseball playoffs tomorrow, I'll tell you right now, to the minute, to the second, they're good. First pitch, Texas, Baltimore tomorrow, 11:03 our time. 2:45 will be Minnesota, Houston. 4:07, Philly, Atlanta. And then the late game, 7:20, Arizona, LA. Go watch and see. It's amazing. You can just put it on your league-mandated website, the actual start time of the game. And you tell the teams, hey, plan your stuff accordingly. I don't care what bells and whistles you want to have in your own stadium. Knock yourself out. But we're going to have the puck drop at this exact time. Done. How hard is that? It's not hard. NFL games, what time do they start? 11 o'clock Edmonton time, the early ones, right? Then the other ones, 2:15. Some of them are 2:25, but they're right on time. This is not hard, except the NHL, where the count clearly can't count. That's what's ironic about this. The count, Gary Bettman, runs the NHL, but he can't count. Don't get it. Hey, Greggs, what do you think the chances are that the Oilers have to do that regarding both Lavoie and Peterson? Well, listening to Matthias Ekholm today, Sam from Vancouver, I will say I think it's low probability that they would have to have Gleason on the roster because both Kulak and Ekholm aren't ready next Wednesday. Right now, Ekholm is a better chance of Kulak. Kulak didn't even skate today. Ekholm's on the ice. He says he's feeling good. He was very cautious. I think because he's a little frustrated that it's taken this time. We kind of joked with him like, oh, this is a real veteran move. Eh? Just show up last day at training camp. Hey, guys, how was training camp? I'm ready to go. And obviously there's some lighthearted barbs amongst the teammates, as there should be. But he said, no, it's a little nagging injury. Sounds like, he changed a little bit of off-season training, been doing kind of 12 years of the same stuff, changed some new stuff, and, maybe got a little bit of hip misalignment or something. He didn't want to talk exactly what the injury was, and that's fine. It's his body. Don't need to know exactly specifics, but he was skating, says he feels good. He's felt good for the last few days, and he is hopeful, but I think he was erring on the side of caution. He didn't want to say it's 100%. That he would play on Wednesday. I think there's a good chance. Ryan McLeod, he was much more confident. He feels he's ready to go. Hey, guys, if the start of the game was my only problem, I wouldn't have a problem. Walter. No. Well, hey, it is a problem because it's just rude. That's all I'm saying. Hey, guys, honestly, who do you think's going to get that 12 forward spot? Well, my gut would tell me Lavoie, and here's why. He's played well. He's a draft pick, a second rounder of the organization. There's a chance. I don't even know how high it is. I don't think it's obvious based on some of the other players that have cleared waivers. I don't think it's obvious that he would get cleared, that he would get claimed on waivers. I just want to say that right now. I don't think it's a lock. But I think the organization looks and says, man, Matthias Janmark can play center. And if he plays center tonight and they look at Lane Peterson, and if the drop-off, if there's any, between Peterson and Janmark, I think it would have to be significant for the organization to say, is it worth potentially losing Lavoie? And that's where I think they're at. So I think it'll be a Lavoie. But it's not a guarantee. I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm not saying lock. It's like, this is not a lock of the week that Lavoie is here, because I don't think it's a lock he'd get claimed. It'll ultimately come down to, I think Peterson has played well. Lavoie's played well, but Peterson has, far from stood out in a negative way. I think he's played quite well. They're different positions. They're different sizes. They're different skill sets. So I wouldn't be shocked if it is Peterson, though. But keep this in mind. Right shot center, 25 years of age with 80 games NHL experience. There are teams out there that might say, hey, wait a sec, because we were talking about the orders. Hey, is there any right shot centers available? Well, there could be one in Peterson. So if you had to ask me, what are the odds Lavoie gets claimed, and then what are the odds Peterson gets claimed? I don't think they're much different, to be honest. I don't think people will look and be like, oh my goodness, Lavoie is a lock. We got to take him. I don't see that at all. Same with Peterson. I think it comes down to, is there a team that is like, oh my goodness, here we go. Oh, I do like this one. Hey, Greggs, why do you always come up with these nicknames? The Count for Gary Bettman, the Chin for Connolly. No wonder he screwed you in that interview. Who wants to take an unprovoked shot on their own show? We were at the roast. I don't know if you've ever been to a roast, but that's what a roast is. And I can't even take credit for the Count. I never came up with the Count. I've come up with the Human Rake, the Belanger Triangle, the Shin Pad Assassin, but I can't take credit for the Count. Someone else came up with the Count, saying Gary Bettman looks like him. It's a nickname. Do you think Gary loses sleep over it? No, none whatsoever. But I can't take credit for the Count. I didn't come up with that one.
Yeah, go on Twitter, look up Count Bettman. You'll get a nice little Photoshop as well.
Oh, it's been there for quite some time. Been there for quite some time. Probably could call him Pinocchio because he lied straight to our face. When I asked him, oh no, we start all our games at 08 and 38. What? And the hilarious part is if you actually go to the NHL's website, it'll say start time of the game on the official game sheet. And there's lots. We're like, the Oilers were starting games against the Flames at 8:52. Laughable. Hey guys, would the Oilers run D for one game rather than risk losing Lavoie on waivers? From Seymour, again, I don't think Raphael Lavoie is this stone cold lock of a waiver claim that the Oilers would go into the first game of the season knowing they would only have 5 defensemen. I'd be surprised. I'll say that. I would be surprised. Quick break coming up. Farhan Lalji. We'll talk a little Lions and Canucks. Also, we got Adam Levitan, Lorianne Munzer, Craig Button, Speck, Wanye Gretz, Glow Time. Man, we got a loaded show. It's the Jason Gregor Show, live on Sports 1440 and watching on Oilers Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club? Kick off your week with unbeatable savings. Enjoy half-price golf from Monday to Thursday. Elevate your game without emptying your wallet. Book your tee time today. CattailCrossing.ca.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Our cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round. And you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football, and head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strnd.ca.
Five-time Alberta Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints are celebrating their 20th season in Spruce Grove. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior A hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $9 to $15 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sprucegrovesaints.ca.
Trevor is lonely.
Yeah.
So Trevor threw a big party and served salad.
Nobody came.
Mike is also lonely.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
So Mike threw a big party and served Wilhock beef jerky.
Go Wilhock! Go Wilhock! Everybody came!
Wilhock beef jerky, because you don't win friends with salad.
Wilhock is the home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
In Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
Summer might now be a memory, but there's still some time to enjoy some summer fun. Time to upgrade your golf game and save some cash while you do it. Check out the Leduc Golf Club Summer Clearance Sale. On now. Upgrade your look with up to 30% off clothing, shoes, and Maui Gym sunglasses. But don't just look good, play good too. Book a round before the weather turns. Say goodbye to summer one last time with the Summer Clearance Sale at Leduc Golf Club. On now.
Amy from Halifax writes, Dear Canadian Tire, I'm hosting Thanksgiving for the first time. Help! Well, Amy, we don't mean to butter our own bread here, but Canadian Tire serves up a wide assortment of kitchen products. Brands like Paderno, The Rock, Cuisinart, and Lagostina will have your family gathering at your house every year. Amy, you are so brave. Get everything you need for Thanksgiving at Canada's Kitchen Store. Visit CanadianTire.ca or this week's flyer for the Fall Mega Sale.
Your Co-op Grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. Talk to our team for advice tailored to your farm's needs. We have recommendations to help you optimize your crop yield and quality while enhancing the health of your land. Co-op, we're all growing together. Here for your farm, here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm.
When Ottawa's proposed electricity regulations make electricity unreliable, the things you rely on won't work when needed. Your hot water, computer, washer and dryer, electric car, TV, lights, mobile phone, stove. your heat in -30. Visit tellthefeds.ca to learn why Canada's power grid will be unreliable. And tell the feds, reliable and affordable electricity matters. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Try their new one-topping garlic or spicy garlic epic stuffed crust for just $21.99 for a limited time, only at papajohns.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Edmonton Sports Authority. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Of course, Oilers at home tonight against the Seattle Kraken, their 8th and final preseason game. The Kraken, this is their 6th and final one. Then, of course, Seattle opens up their season next Tuesday when Vegas will have their pregame ceremony raising the banner. And the Oilers will be on the road in Vancouver in 5 sleeps next Wednesday night. Let's get to the CFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. Farhan Lalji from the CFL on TSN joins us. Farhan, welcome back to the program. It is the Elks are back in action, and they got a chance, albeit extremely slim, because they need to win out and they need Saskatchewan to lose out. So Edmonton winning out seems to be the hard part, because they're taking on some pretty tough teams here down the stretch, most notably Toronto. So you look at the Argos right now, they're 12-2. Are they clearly the best team in your eyes?
No, I don't think so. I truly believe there's a big 3. Some would argue maybe a big 2. And just going through all the numbers and everything like that for prep purposes for tonight's game, it's like Winnipeg's number 1 in virtually every meaningful category, like with a bullet. And I think Toronto's very good, but I think there's very little to choose from between them and Winnipeg, and quite frankly, BC. And we'll see which one comes out of there tonight, and we'll see how Toronto manages dealing with the break and everything associated with that for 6 weeks, which seems crazy to me that it's going to be that long before they play a meaningful game, and they'll try to find their edge. So, that might be something that Edmonton can take advantage of tonight.
Yeah, the one thing that might have BC a rung lower is their quarterback's penchant for throwing interceptions, right? That might be the one thing.
Yeah, truthfully, Jason, I don't agree. And I say that not because I'm trying to be a homer trying to defend Vernon. It's just that when you look at the interceptions in context, he's at 16, Zach Collaros is at 14. But we don't view Zach Collaros as having a penchant for turnovers because he's won 2 Grey Cups. So we just view that differently. And when he throws them, we write it off. The truth is, 11 of Vernon's interceptions have come in 3 games. The rest of it's been pretty clean over the course of, the other dozen games that he's played. So he's had 3 multiple interception games. Collaros has had 4. Now, I'm not making a case that Vernon is better than Zach. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we're quick to dismiss the other interceptions. You look at Chad Kelly, and he's had 11, right? And he's played less meaningful football. Yeah. And you look at Chad Kelly, and, one of the things that I look at in all of this as well is the unbalanced schedule. So he's played 1 game against a quality opponent, and that was BC, because he didn't play a quality opponent against Winnipeg because he didn't play, right? And so, whereas you look at what the teams are doing here, it gets a little tougher. So I'm not willing to just write off what Vernon has done and saying he throws a ton of picks, because really, if you take 3 games out of 15, and you can't do that, but you can when you compare it to all the other quarterbacks, I don't think he's been that careless.
The Elks, some would obviously not consider them a quality opponent, but lately, for the last 6 weeks, they've been pretty good and well, at least very competitive, right? They probably could have won that Winnipeg game, but they didn't. But they've been in games. When you look at Trey Ford in the offense and Jarius Jackson and how he's calling plays now, Is there anything like that you feel like, are they going to be able to run the ball at will on Toronto like they have been on virtually everybody else here for the last 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think they can run it on most teams, right? And Toronto's given up a few, and so I like the way they are calling the game now. I think Jarius is doing a really good job, and you see how Kevin Brown has opened up because the backside of the defense is fully concerned about Trey, and that really has been the focus of everybody's defense. It is not Kevin Brown; it is Trey Ford, the passer, and Trey Ford, the runner. And that's opened up so many other things. And, the one thing that Jarius has tried to really be conscious of is you haven't seen a ton of designed runs in Edmonton's offense. No. And the reason for that is he knows that organically Trey's going to take off and go a lot. So don't add to the load on his body by having him take, if he's going to take off a dozen times a game, you don't want him to have another 5 more designed runs per game, right? So, but he still gets his yardage with his legs, and you don't have the backside of the defenses collapsing down on Kevin Brown, so that's opened things up for him. It's slowed down pass rushes, which has made things more comfortable for the offensive line. And as Trey Ford has emerged, Geno Lewis has also come back into Edmonton's lineup, so it's all lined up nicely. And I do think at some point Trey is going to have to be able to show, and I believe he can do this. He decided not to show it, that he can navigate through reads, because you can't make an entire career by just running around. There's got to be more, and I think he's got the physical tools to do it. And I think the way Jarius is calling the game, he's getting the chance to do it. So I'm enjoying watching his growth in that side of his game.
Yeah, the one other area of his growth as Farhan Lalji joined us is I saw last game they played 2 weeks ago. There were 3 or 4 occasions, Farhan, where he could have thrown the ball away and avoid a sack. And he didn't. And that, I love his ability to want it. He says, hey, I can make a play every time. But there is certain times where you say, you know what? Okay, just take this. We're not losing 4 or 5 extra yards. And now it's not second and super long or stuff like that. That would, to me, would be the one. It's a small thing, but I think that's an evolution of knowing when to get rid of it.
Truthfully, Jason, it's not a small thing. It's a huge thing. And I mean, you even look in the NFL, the biggest drawback to Russell Wilson's game was that. Yeah. And sometimes they say you've got to take the good with the bad, but why turn a 5-yard loss into a 15 when you could throw the ball away and be great the next play? Yeah. And as I look at, collegiate draft prospects, I see Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders, who can make every throw and is dynamic with his legs, but he does that. He wants to make every play work and will turn a 5-yard loss into a 15-yard loss and extend it too much. And I think that'll just come with time for Trey Ford, right? You take enough hits and you make enough mistakes and you're going to learn. And right now, I almost think he's trying to play the whole season in half a season, right? Because of all the time that was missed in the front half while the Elks were dealing with Cornelius and he wasn't getting a lot of reps. I do think every game Trey Ford wants to make a statement, and that's just his awesome competitive nature. But as he gets comfortable and as he feels comfortable that it's my job, I think you'll see him make those smarter decisions in those moments.
The Elks currently have 2 of the 4 players in the league in double digits in sacks, Jake Ceresna and AC Leonard. Their defense has come on. How do you see this battle of the trenches, Elks D-line versus the O-line of Toronto tonight?
Well, gosh, the 2 best O-lines in the league belong to Toronto and Winnipeg, and probably Toronto, right? When you see that Chad Kelly's had 11 sacks or 12 sacks all season, that's insane. Like, it's just insane. So, and they have relied on throwing the ball. Yeah, AJ Ouellette's been good, but they also have a good receiving core, and Kelly's been asked to do some things. So, I don't know. I don't know that Edmonton's going to be able to comfortably get home here. Now, it's weird to just kind of get a sense of how Toronto's going to play this, right, given what happened last week. But it is their 150th anniversary, and they are making this game a priority. So if they play everybody and they truly make winning a priority, and their starting O-line is in and Chad Kelly plays extended and they call the game the same way, I'm not sure Edmonton's going to have a lot of success here getting to them, because that line is just too good.
It is stunning how little. Now, I know that sacks are one stat, but what about pressures? Because I see the stats and then I look and say, well, maybe he's getting pressured lots, but I watch this Toronto games and then some night, Kelly's back there. It's like, you know what? I'm going to have a cigarette. Maybe I'll have a sandwich. Oh, now I'll throw the ball.
Don't need a shower.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy how much time he gets sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And, you couple that, like, it really is a good team. And Chad Kelly's doing his part, but I just keep looking at numbers and looking at what the MOP key factors should be, right? And, defensively, they're so strong and they're so deep, and their special teams are so good, and they're starting with the best field position in the league. Like, they are number one with a bullet, right? There's a margin there between them and number two. And so that's making it easier on Chad Kelly. And, the fact that he's got a lot of time to go back there and just navigate through everything has been really, really good for him, right? He hasn't had to run for his life. It's hard enough coming into this league and learning how to make reads with the 12th man and with all the motion and how that changes reads and everything like that. And the Argos have set it up for Kelly to be able to comfortably do it.
Farhan Lalji Jones. Farhan, I want to quickly switch to hockey. Of course, the Canucks in your own backyard. And, Demko being healthy will be a massive difference for them. I don't think there's any question. But the big one will be, like, their penalty kill was awful last year. Like, awful. And now part of that's goaltending. Sure, I get it. If you don't have good goaltending, it's hard to have a good penalty kill. But do you see any reason to believe that the PK in Vancouver is going to be significantly better?
Yeah, I do. First of all, the players they've added, right? Pia Suter and Teddy Bluger and, Ian Cole and Carson Soucy, they do a good job at that part of the game, whether it's, winning face-offs, taking away shooting lanes, blocking shots. Their roster is much better equipped to kill penalties. And when you talk about the goaltending, and Thatcher Demko, before he got hurt, was not Thatcher Demko, like .882 save percentage in his first 15 games before he tore the groin and left the lineup. He was very good when he came back at the end, but by that time it was too late. So, you're going to get a better goaltender, you're going to get a better system and structure and personnel. There's just no way they can be that bad. Now, they're going to go right into the fire these first two games against the best power play in the world. And you'll find out if they can function, because if they can, if Edmonton scores one power play goal in each game, that's a pretty good win compared to what it looked like a year ago, right? So, and truthfully, they'll probably get tested because I'm finding they're taking too many penalties in the preseason. So that's got to change as well. But there's no way they can be that bad again. And that's not just me saying it'll be regression to the mean. Their players, from a penalty killing perspective, are better. I don't know how they're going to score, but I think they can kill penalties better.
Well, they're going to have to, because they do face the NHL's best power play the first two games of the season. So they'll get a good test right off the hop. Seeing the Oilers and McDavid twice back-to-back, a ridiculous power play.
Yeah, no doubt. And from everything I've heard, they're trying to kind of change how they go about it, and a little more movement. And, they're just so talented to begin with, right? It really forces you to be not just skilled, but it forces you to be disciplined, right? And patient. So there's nothing I can say about Edmonton's power play that hasn't already been said. But we'll find out how much better the Canucks are. And truthfully, they could get lit up on the power play these first two games and still be significantly better, because no one else's power play is like Edmonton's.
Yeah. Quickly back to the CFL. The MOP and Defensive Player of the Year. Do you see a favorite in either one right now?
Yeah, the MOP is really compelling. Naylor and I did a debate about the two quarterbacks in the West. Everybody believes that it should be Chad Kelly. I'm not there yet. And if he plays a bunch of meaningless football here down the stretch, that's going to get held against him, and it should be held against him, right? And they're not playing last week. So I'm not convinced, because of some of the points I mentioned earlier, right? Just how good that team is and how good the line is, and the fact that his field position's been so good, and the fact that he's not playing as good opponents as Caleros and Vernon Adams are, right? But then in Winnipeg, do you take Caleros or do you take Brady Oliveira?
Yeah.
Right? Because this guy's going to wind up having the second best season by a Canadian running back ever, right? So he's been as big a part of that team. So my guess is Caleros is still going to come out of Winnipeg. And for the West's nominee, it comes down to tonight's game in my mind. I just think Caleros and Adams statistically are so close in every meaningful metric. You talk about interceptions, Jason. How about in the red zone? Vernon Adams' touchdown to interception ratio in the red zone is 19-0. Right?
That's pretty good.
They're so close in every metric that this is the game that'll decide it, because Vernon didn't play the last time they played, and Winnipeg put the boots to BC. So the first game, Vernon won. This game, if he can win again and go 2-0 this season and put up another 300-yard performance, he'll have my vote. If Zach wins and outplays Vernon, he'll have my vote. Defensively, I think it's Matthew Betts. Willie Jefferson can make a case, and even though he's not getting sacks right now, he's still affecting games. Leads the league in defensive stops with 22, which is a combination of sacks and tackles for loss and batted passes. But I still think the season that that Matthew Betts is having is really, really good, and I would probably give him my vote currently.
Where did Betts come from, Farhan? Because I know like Chris Jones had him and they just let him walk. They didn't sign him. And then he went to BC and he obviously wasn't this dominant. What's changed for Betts this year?
Opportunity, number one, in terms of scheme, growth, right? I mean, you don't just come in and all of a sudden dominate at this level, no matter how good you were collegiately. The Elks would have been wise to wait a little longer, but they looked at him the previous year and said, look, this guy had 12 tackles. Forget sacks. He had 12 tackles. There's not enough production. We're done. We're moving on. And I think that was a mistake. There's no doubt about it. And, the one thing you hear when you talk to opposing coaches is his motor, like just a complete relentless pursuit of the football on every play. The first game against Winnipeg, he made a mess of Zach Collaros. The second game, they were in 7-man protection so often, bringing in offensive linemen because they had to deal with that guy. Like, he impacted the game like that. So it's, he's showing what he showed at Laval now, just a huge motor, and it just took him a while to get there.
Farhan, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the games this weekend.
Take care.
That's Farhan Lalji from TSN, the CFL on TSN. It's the CFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. We got a lot of texts to get to at 803-401-1440. When we return, we'll talk a little bit of fantasy and football. And, another trade involving late picks. Man, this one could have huge implications. I'll tell you about it next. The Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Established in 2001 right here in Edmonton, Corporate Business Solutions has grown to become the largest Konica Minolta digital office equipment dealer in Western Canada. Office technologies may have changed over the past 22 years, but Corporate Business Solutions continues to provide guaranteed same-day service to local businesses right here in Edmonton. Our customers' loyal support has allowed Corporate Business Solutions to provide the service they deserve. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Action Electrical is expanding throughout Alberta. With the recent acquisition of Big Hill Electrical Services in Cochrane, Action Electrical is the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta. What does this mean for Action Electrical and Big Hill Electrical Services? It means that they are able to support their clientele all over Alberta with the same high level of professionalism and integrity. From conception to completion and beyond, throughout Alberta, contact
the professionals
at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Your old furnace can die in the blink of an eye, so why take that chance this winter? Eric Mikowski here, head of the family at Furnace Family. The time for a new furnace is now. Not only will you have peace of mind on those cold winter nights, you will save money on those super expensive gas bills. Unsure? Furnace Family can come check your furnace, and if you buy a new one from us, the check is free. Daikin has an industry-leading lifetime warranty on their heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. Visit furnacefamily.com. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night, furnacefamily.com.
Amy from Halifax writes, Dear Canadian Tire, I'm hosting Thanksgiving for the first time. Help! Well, Amy, we don't mean to butter our own bread here, but Canadian Tire serves up a wide assortment of kitchen products. Brands like Paderno, The Rock, Cuisinart, and Lagostina will have your family gathering at your house every year. Amy, you are so brave. Get everything you need for Thanksgiving at Canada's Kitchen Store. Visit CanadianTire.ca or this week's flyer for the fall mega sale.
When Ottawa's proposed electricity regulations make electricity unreliable, the things you rely on won't work when needed. Your hot water, computer, washer and dryer, electric car, TV, lights, mobile phone, stove, your heat in -30. Visit tellthefeds.ca to learn why Canada's power grid will be unreliable. And tell the feds, reliable and affordable electricity matters. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. There's something going on every day at OTR. On Monday, Bingo Tunes, Taco Tuesday, karaoke on Wednesday, Salsa Night Thursday, and live music every weekend on the OTR stage with DJ Kenny K, On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. Sports 1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Live also on Oilers Nation YouTube. Hit the subscribe button while you're there. I like it. Adam Levitan is going to join us momentarily. Talk a little football. Of course, another trade in the NFL as the Broncos. They're not going very far, but pass rusher Randy Gregory is going to the San Francisco 49ers, along with the 7th rounder, and then a 6th round pick will go to Denver. That's kind of being the going rate. The player and a 7th, and then the team that trades the player gets a 6th. That was the your Chargers trade, Connor, earlier. So, and now the other name's escaping me. There was 3 guys traded this week. So
Chase Claypool was another one.
Yeah, that's the other one, Chase Claypool. So interesting for him to go to Miami. They obviously look at him as a depth guy. And, he still is the player that everybody looks and says, man, he's got a lot of talent. Is he actually going to use it? I'll say this. I do wonder if, it was a wake-up call. He basically apologized to his teammates after week 1 because he said he wasn't into it. And I guess I can appreciate the honesty there. And his work ethic was fine in games 2 and 3, but he didn't really do much. So, we'll see. I'll say this. A receiver in that Miami offense right now, it's hard not to be successful. And the way they're blowing out teams except Buffalo, he'll probably get some garbage time at bare minimum, you would think, moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably best case scenario for a guy like Chase Claypool, who, could be potentially facing the end of his NFL career if he can't make this work. Going to an offense with Mike McDaniel, who is, a young offensive guru playing behind Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and, the plethora of running backs that they have. I kind of joked, if you were to make a wide receiver, the prototype, 6'4", 220 would be nice. He's 6'4", 238, can run a 4.4 40-yard dash.
Nice.
Like, he's built to play receiver in the NFL. This could be the way to unlock him. And he's got to want it, though. That's the biggest thing with Chase Claypool. It always has been.
Yeah. We'll get to the fantasy report brought to you by Next Gen Transportation, heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated, and they are hiring. If you're looking for a great gig, good company, check out nextgentransportation.com. Also, when you look at some of the moves, hey, what about the Chicago Bears? How many of you last night had Fields on your bench? If you did, ouch. I would assume you had more starting, right? Like, he's a clear number one receiver on a team. Now, I didn't expect him to have 3 touchdowns and 200 yards, but still. The thing about Fields is the last 2 weeks, he's been quite good. And the Bears, they got off to a great start, and they just they basically carried it all the way home. So, their defense, hey, they actually got some sacks yesterday. So that's good news for them. Washington was like, they woke up in the second half, and, Howell made it close. He almost threw for 400 yards. It was kind of garbage time as they're playing catch up, and all they had to do was throw the ball. But, the Bears, that's like, they probably should have beat the Broncos, if we're being honest. So now the Broncos aren't great, but hey, Washington have been playing fairly well. And they handled them pretty easily, put up 40 points on them. I don't know if anybody had the Bears scoring 40 yesterday. But when you look at it, Cons, some injury notes for fantasy. T. Higgins in Cincinnati got a rib injury. Not sure where he's going to be at. Detroit, a few of their key guys have jumped up on the injured list, which could have an impact on their game.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at T. Higgins, anyways, you probably don't want to start him just with the quarterback play of Joe Burrow. It's been too inconsistent. But Josh Reynolds questionable with the groin. Jahmyr Gibbs got the hamstring. Also, Jameson Williams, not exactly sure what that is. He is questionable. He was taken off the suspended list. So, yeah, the offense with the Detroit Lions certainly taking some hits. But the good news is, if you do have Montgomery, you're looking pretty good because Amon-Ra St. Brown also doubtful with the abdomen injury. So you can expect probably a pretty heavy running attack for the Detroit Lions. We'll see if Jahmyr Gibbs is able to go, but if you've got Montgomery, unless the opposing defense says, hey, we're just going to shut down the run game, I still expect him to make some plays.
Yeah, I'm not sure Carolina can do that at this point.
There is the problem.
No, that's a pretty good matchup for them. There's no question about it. So, any other injuries that you're watching? And obviously bye weeks come into play now for teams. I know Connor was bemoaning his terrible GMing that's left him pretty high and dry in your receiving core. Like, you're one of those guys who drafts and doesn't look at the bye weeks, do you?
Well, I will say my wide receiving core is pretty legit if Cooper Kupp plays. Then I got Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, and Calvin Ridley. I mean, I don't think I know too many people that would be scoffing at that receiving core.
Is it your running backs then?
My running backs in that league, see, I don't have it memorized. That might be part of my problem. I don't know my team that well.
What?
I've got...
How many leagues are you in?
Only 2. James Conner, DeAndre Swift, and James Cook. And I've also got Madison, Pierce, and Eckler on the bench.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty good.
It's a good team.
Yeah, but you have that's an 8-team league, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't won a game in this league yet.
So let's make it, just so people are listening, like, what? How can you have all those guys?
Yeah.
It's an 8-team league. You have like 5 good running backs.
I also have Joe Burrow. So
yeah, see, the problem with that, sometimes having too many, because you're like, well, which one do I play?
Who do I drop?
And then all of a sudden, you don't play the right one each week. So why don't you guys expand that to 10-team league? Put Declan and Brando in there next year.
Well, I'll throw out the invite for sure. We were at 7 for a long time. We had to get one of our the members' cousins to join to get us up to 8. My friend group, there's a big group, but there's not a lot of football fans. So 7 was kind of what we came together with. We've added one since, but yeah, that one's been tough. Some other injuries to watch for, because we had this coming in a fantasy frenzy today. People asking about Saquon Barkley. He is questionable. He was limited in practice. And, I think pretty obvious, he is their offense. Without Saquon Barkley, the Giants really don't have a lot of choices here. They're playing the Miami Dolphins in that Dolphins heat. So, obviously we think the Dolphins are going to be able to go cook. And this one, for the Saints, you've got Derek Carr, who is questionable to play in that one. The The Ravens, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, both running backs for the Baltimore Ravens, both questionable. So was Odell Beckham. I don't know if you really want to be starting those guys in fantasy anyways, but you mentioned it, T. Higgins. He's questionable with the ribs also. That's one to maybe watch out for. I don't know if you have confidence in T. Higgins anymore, Gregor. I know you have him on your roster. I just don't know if I could do it with the play of Joe Burrow this year. And he can tell me he's healthy all he wants, but until we actually see it, I'm just not sold on it. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence against a tough Buffalo Bills defense this week, hoping that jet lag gets them as they make their way to London, taking on the Jags.
Yeah, well, I saw that two people talking about the jet lag and, oh, this is terrible. I'm like, well, but I didn't hear anybody in the last week complain about those two teams. So Bills fans, pipe down. Don't use it as an excuse. Like, come on. You absolutely just waxed a very good Miami team. There is zero reason. I don't even care that Jacksonville's been there for a week. To me, now, unless the Bills have a letdown after playing so well, like Miami maybe had a little bit. I don't know, but it's not like the Jacksonville Jaguars are just like this juggernaut. I will say, though, the fact that Calvin Ridley got a touchdown last week, I wonder how maybe that just relaxes things and him and Trevor Lawrence start to get on a little bit of a heater, maybe. We'll see. You know, Jacksonville, like they have potential, right? Like they've got Kirk and they've got Ridley and they got Etienne. Like they seemingly on paper have some pieces, but they haven't really been able to put it together yet. Like Trevor Lawrence hasn't had like a dominant, oh my goodness type of game yet this year.
No, really. He had one good game so far this year, and that was, I believe, the opener. Yeah, the offense is really nice. You know, Zay Jones is potentially your third receiver option. Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, who really did nothing for the Giants, but kind of had it unlocked when he went to Jacksonville. He's been good. And then Travis Etienne, a running back, receiver. You can pretty much line him anywhere on the offense, and he's a threat. You'd think they'd have more success, but who knows? Maybe as they get comfortable in London, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. When I look at, like I know Jacksonville, like London's almost like their second home. They play there all the time. They're obviously, their owner loves it. They must be making some good money off it because they keep going there. But I wonder at some point when Jacksonville says, okay, enough's enough. We don't always have to be playing over there.
Yeah. I mean, I get why they're one of the closest teams to there. They're on the East Coast. The fan base in Jacksonville, I mean, it's not one of the more solid. They're not selling it out all the time, so I get why the NFL looks to do it, but it is interesting. I wonder if there was a complaint, and that's why they're staying there for 2 games this time, and just try to acclimate themselves a little bit, get used to, let the time zones kind of set in with them. It is interesting, though. I'd be a little upset if I was a Jags fan, losing out on one of your or 2 of your home games potentially.
Well, that's what I mean. They obviously are making money. Well, they don't sell out there. Hey, guys, it's always awesome when the top guys that you name on the injury list are all on my fantasy team. Sorry, Dino. I get it. It's frustrating, man. Right?
Eckler and Cup. That was my team. I had a lot of high hopes in those two, and they crushed me.
Well, Eckler should be back because there's a bye week.
He should be back now. And Cup should be back as well.
So as long as your team can stay in the hunt, and now Eckler, you know what? Maybe got his injury out of the way. They heal up. He takes a little extra time. Now maybe he goes off down the stretch, and you're happy about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I have him in my league, so that's what I'm hoping. So, well,
same with Cup, right?
Yeah,
he's ready to go.
Hey guys, one guy in our league started both Fields and more. Pretty much won. Yeah, I would think so. It's got almost. If you're in a full PPR league, you almost got 100 points from those two guys. Ridiculous. Good for It's always risky a little. Sometimes it works out great if you have the quarterback receiver tandem and they go off and have a big game. Right? I like that, but how often does it happen? Especially when, no offense, it's not like Fields is a pass crazy quarterback. Right now, the last 2 weeks he has been, and maybe finally they're unlocking him a little bit and he's understanding how to read defenses better, but it is great if you have both and they go off. It almost guarantees you a win. Especially at that level, like what Fields did last night. And I think he had 45 in a full PPR league. If you're going full PPR for rushing yards and passing yards, 6 for touchdowns. And Moore was just ridiculous. He's over 50 points.
And he probably should have had another touchdown.
Yeah.
That play on the sideline, it did not look like he was out, and we did not get a replay. So I'm wondering if that was Amazon or, whoever the broadcast partner was kind of doing the NFL a favor, not making a bigger deal out of that one.
Kurt from Barhead asked Cons to replace for Brown's injury in Detroit. Would he go with Kirk, Judy, or Rashee Rice?
Kirk, Judy, Rashee Rice. I kind of like Jerry Judy to break out at some point here. Kirk, there's a lot of options there. Rice could be, but no, I think I'd probably go with Jerry Judy in that one.
All right.
But I'm a Jerry Judy apologist, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, remove the emotion. Remove the emotion. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by BIE Engineering, specializing in all your residential, commercial, and industrial structural engineering needs. Go to BIEENG.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Week 18 of the CFL kicks off tonight as the Elks in Toronto take on the Argos. That one gets going at 5 o'clock. You'll also have BC hosting Winnipeg. That one gets going at 8. Tomorrow, you've got Hamilton and Saskatchewan. Then on Monday, Montreal taking on Ottawa in the NHL. The Oilers back in action, wrapping up their preseason, taking on the Kraken at 7 down at Rogers Place. Also, Preds take on the Hurricanes. Islanders host the Devils. The Penguins in Buffalo. And the Canucks taking on the Flames in the AJ this evening. Lots of games going on. Spruce Grove hosting Canmore. That one gets going just after 7 o'clock. Sherwood Park up in Fort Mac. That is a 7:30 start. Also, Okotoks host Drumheller. Olds and Lloyd. Blackfalds take on Grand Prairie and Brooks up against Drayton Valley. The Oil Kings off tonight. They're in action tomorrow, hosting the PA Raiders. Also on a long weekend, you got them taking on the Lethbridge Hurricanes. That's a noon start. Golden Bears football or hockey today, and the Pandas, they have home and homes with the MRU Cougars. Coming up in hour number 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Olympian Lorianne Munzer and also Ian Herbers, Golden Bears hockey coach. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Are you looking for an affordable business, group, or team outing this season? Why not catch the excitement of a game with 5-time Alberta Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints? With extremely affordable group and suite packages available, and some of the lowest food and drink prices around, Saints games are the perfect night for your next group event. Get your group in on the action. For more information, visit sprucegrovesaints.ca.
How exciting is it to have Sports Talk Radio back in Edmonton?
Tie game, bottom of the ninth, the full count. The kick, the pitch. It's high, it's far, it is gone! Walk-off home run!
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Edmonton Kubota is excited to welcome back Sports Talk Radio, Sports 1440. We'll be dialed in for every minute. Get it done, and then some at Edmonton Kubota. All compact BX tractors on sale with 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by on 128th Ave or visit EdmontonKubota.com.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Mr. Rooter meets a zombie.
Ooh, what a spooky old place. Hello? Did someone call a plumber? Rain! It's hideous! Stay back, monster!
I was saying drains. Yeah, I have clogged drains.
Oh, of course. Ha, I can fix those. And may I say how nice your tattered clothes look?
Never undead, always unclogged. Trust Mr. Rooter.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Amy from Halifax writes, Dear Canadian Tire, I'm hosting Thanksgiving for the first time. Help! Well, Amy, we don't mean to butter our own bread here, but Canadian Tire serves up a wide assortment of kitchen products. Brands like Paderno, The Rock, Cuisinart, and Lagostina will have your family gathering at your house every year. Amy, you are so brave. Get everything you need for Thanksgiving at Canada's Kitchen Store. Visit CanadianTire.ca or this week's flyer for the fall mega sale.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at Cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. How are you? It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, also live on Oilers Nation YouTube. And $50 million. That is what's up for grabs tonight at Lotto Max. And get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Not bad. Oof. Be quite nice. Nice chunk of change. Heck, you don't even have to win it all. Split it a few ways. Still be fine. I'd take that. I don't need to be greedy. I'll take 25. Even if I had to split it like 3, 4, 5 ways. I don't care. 5 ways, it's still 10 schmil. Be unreal. Unreal. So be good. Let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. If you're looking for exciting AJHL action, go to sprucegrovesaints.ca, where you can get tickets as the Saints, entertaining team as always. And they are home tonight against Camrose and tomorrow. So a double dip. Get down to the Grant Fear Arena. Some great AJHL action. Get your tickets at sprucegrovesaints.ca or at the door. And our big guest is our regular Friday contributor at this time, former Olympic gold. Well, I guess not former. She's 2-time medalist. Lori Ann Munzer joins us. And Lori Ann, here we are. It's October of 2023, and the Summer Olympics are coming up. And as a former Summer Olympian, I'm sure as it gets closer to yourself, it's always like, oh, this is exciting times. I was curious in the final year, because now it's like, 8-9 months away from the Olympics, which seems like a lot for us, but I would think for athletes, it's like, oh, it's only 9 months. Cause for sometimes it's been 2, 3, 4 years out that you're working for. How does it change mentally? Even though you try not to, how does those final 9 months change for Olympic athletes?
Everything changes once you qualify, because that's the first one right there, because everything has been building to the qualification and then being announced, okay, hey, I've got that spot, or I potentially could have that spot. I think, honestly, nothing changes, because what you're doing now is going to lead to the big day, the big event, or the big week. And it's how good can you get and fine tune your processes. So number one, you stay healthy. Number two, you're on track. If you get injured, what are you going to be doing to mitigate that? The other part is, what other distractions do you have around you? Family stuff. You're probably not working like I was, but there's always stuff that's going to come down the pipeline, and you have to be crystal clear on what it is that you're doing and where you're going. But number one, you have to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan with a couple contingency spots on it as well, you might have a little bit of trouble, because the media is going to want to have a little bit of time with you. And if you've never done that before, that's going to be a new adventure. If you have sponsorship arrangements, people are going to come out and they're going to ask you to come and be a part of their events. It's a great thing to do, but you also have to weigh it. And you really have to have that clarity of your plan. Your plan is your blueprint. You can adjust, you can deviate, you can change it a little bit, but you also have to know what is it that you're wanting to do and how are you doing it.
You mentioned the media, and I always see some people say, and I'm like, well, first of all, the media is like a 10-minute interview at the most sometimes, maybe 15, a few extra times. Usually the athlete does it after their training. So I'm like, it shouldn't be a disruption. It's only a distraction if you make it a distraction. You tell yourself, oh my goodness, this is the worst thing. And really, as an athlete, you should look at, hey, here's an opportunity to get my brand out. Maybe I can get more sponsors, however you do it. But you talk about health, and I think, and I've seen it, and it is devastating. It happens every year. There's always this, 10, 15 Olympians that have trained for 4 years to get ready. In the last few months, boom, they're injured. And then some of them try to gut it out, but they don't have the performance they want. And then others just simply can't compete because they're not healthy. Is there anything in the final year that you do to try to increase your health or lower the percentage of getting an injury?
Yeah, you don't talk about it, you don't think about it, and you move towards what it is that you want. So coming off of a ruptured appendix that put me out of the world championships that I was slotted to win, was like, crap, but there was nothing I could do because I was totally out of it. If you keep thinking injury, if you keep mitigating all of that, that's where I think you're going to create a bit of a problem. You want to think about what's your optimum health, like what's the breakfast of champion? What is your lunch going to be like? What are you drinking? How many hours of sleep are you getting? Do you do chiropractic, physio? Do you have an exercise therapist that is helping you out to make sure that your body is in balance versus being unbalanced? There's so many team partners that you can have that can be an asset, that don't even think about injury and stuff like that, because that's exactly where you're going to go.
What about workload? Did you ramp up? Did you do less? Did you do the exact same, like competitions leading up to it? Is it different? And the certain athletes that you talk to, like, did you feel like, okay, I got to get in that competitive spirit, so I need to test myself? And others were like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to go in this type of race at this point, 3-4 months out. How does it work?
All depends on your plan. When I was competing, we had World Cups. The World Cups led to, if you got to play at the World Championships, there was usually 4, maybe 5. I didn't do all of them. I set out and scheduled in the ones that I knew would be for me. And that was typically the first 3, because if I ran into a problem at one of them, then I had the 4th one where I could go and get enough points or get a good finish that would set me and get me the entrance into the World Championships. So you're reverse engineering everything and you work it backwards. It's what is the number one peak? You can only have one peak. My coach duped me and he said, you're going to have 2 peaks. You're going to have the Olympics and the World Championships. I didn't know that I was building up and through the World Championships, because you can only have one true peak in a 1-year, 12-month calendar year.
Why is that?
Oh my gosh, the preparation and the build up, like you were talking about, the physical build up into the games. I mean, you're creating a perfect recipe, but you're not sure, how much weights that you should be doing exactly. You have a really good idea. So the years before have been in the preparation, because everybody's going to be different. If you're in the gym, you're going to have a couple needs that are going to be different than mine. Yeah. You have a younger athlete, they're going to have different needs than I would, right? So you learn and you watch and you analyze it, but you also get feedback from them. What's working? What's not working? Where are you kind of hesitating? And then you really start building and tweaking it. So reverse engineering it, you have the number one main event. You have international races, or what I would call international races, to get to the World Championships. Then you have like other international races, which would be like a Grand Prix, lesser counting events. They still count because it's all that progression, that building up to the World Cups, the World Championships, if that's the qualifiers, and then to the Olympics. But then you also have local races. You have races with the guys. I used to race with the men, and I loved it because being the fastest woman, there wasn't another female to challenge me. So the only way that I could get faster, get smarter, get better was to race with the men. Well, that ups the ante, which is like awesome. Like the spectators loved it. I loved it. The guys loved it. And it was just, I remember being held at the start line we had a 2-lap race. This was in Victoria. And there was 5 guys. I was up on the top of the rail, 5 guys below me. And I told the guy that was holding me, I said, you better just give me the biggest slingshot push that you can, because we were allowed for that event. I said, because I'm going to go like a rocket. And the guy below me goes, hey, Grandma, what do you think you're going to do today? And I'm like, I don't know, kid. I think you should watch. Anyways, I got the biggest slingshot rocket, and I went as fast as I could for 2 laps around 333 meter track. So it's just over half a kilometer, full tilt max to the wall. And I crossed the finish line first. So then when the kid came by, I said, hey, kid, how'd I do? And it's just, I mean, these are the games.
What
right?
did he
This
say?
stuff, there was a lot of grumbling going on. But it was part and parcel of the preparation, and it's what you do. And it's just that building part. Every race is like an Olympic event, and it's your time to try things that maybe you've been preparing for all winter, all season. Maybe you've tried it before, it didn't work. So you come from a different perspective or a different angle or a different shot. And it's those things that build who you become when you show up at the Olympics.
Lorianne Munzer joined us, of course. And the reason I want to bring up this topic, we had Marco Arop on the Kevin Carrier show early this morning. And of course, he just won the 800 meter world championship, first ever Canadian to win the 800 meters. It's a pretty big accomplishment. And, he said, hey, you know what? I told myself before the race that my life isn't going to change. I'm going to be the same whether I win or lose. And he did admit that obviously when you win, things change a little bit for sure. Maybe there's extra pressure or not. I would think the internal pressure, I've always said this, I believe the pressure an athlete puts on themselves is infinitely higher than anything that somebody's going to write about or talk about or anything else like that. Because you look in the mirror and you're just like, we don't know what your internal goals are because it's private. Most people don't externalize what their goals are personally. But after you win, is it easier because now you're like, oh my goodness, that was unbelievable. That was super fun. And I want to stay at the top. Did it play mind games with you after you won? How different was it?
Life was totally different. The one thing I wished somebody would have said is before you go and do your Olympic or your World Championship event is write out 2 or 3 scenarios.
Okay.
If you don't cross the finish line first, if you do cross the finish line first, what are you going to do? What is your life going to be like? What do you want it to be like? And then write 2 or 3 versions of that. I didn't. And holy cow, I was on a really awesome treadmill. I had no idea, no concept of time. I had no idea where I was going. I had an attaché. He worked with the Senators hockey club because they just started. And he took me around. He said, okay, we're going here. We're going to Global. We're going here. We were in Athens. I had no idea where I was, where we were going, how long we were going to be. It was interview. And they were awesome. But it was like, holy overwhelm. I didn't have dinner. We didn't even celebrate. I got home around 3:00 in the morning.
You didn't celebrate?
No, because all the bars were closed. Everything was closed afterwards, which was like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
And you probably didn't have you'd be like, hey, why don't you buy a bottle? And if I don't win, we just don't show it to me. But if we win, we're going to have it.
Well, I should have, you know, but it's those things that you don't know.
So when did you ultimately finally celebrate? Like the next day?
About a year later.
What?
I know.
Like you would not fit in well in baseball, would you at all?
No, but I'm getting a do-over. No, the problem was I always thought somebody else was supposed to throw you a party. And I was just so busy. I was here, I was there.
No.
And finally,
you get to do a little like a humble brag here. Hey, well, I'm having a party. It's to celebrate my Olympic gold medal. Do you think any of your friends would be, oh, I can't believe how arrogant people like, this is unreal. I'm getting invited to a gold medal party.
No, I know, but that's just how busy I was. And I didn't stop to take a pause and go, press the pause button for a minute. Let's think about what I'm doing. And the crazy part was the UCI, the Union Cycliste Internationale, they moved the cycling season 4 months earlier. So instead of starting in February, we started in November. Typically, you race until the end of September. You take 4 weeks off in October, go on a vacation, go do something, and November you start training. No, because November was the start of the 2005 season.
And the season ended at the end of September? Or did it end earlier because
well,
of the
it
Olympics?
ended after the Olympics in August. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, so you had a couple of weeks. And then I won a gold medal, which was like, okay, yep, go here, go there. I had all kinds of speaking events and I was doing all kinds of appearances. It was awesome. But then I also had to train for the World Cups.
Yeah.
It didn't go very good. And I was just on this treadmill. It was the worst thing I could have done, but it was what I was doing because I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't have a schedule. And I would tell any athlete,
have a schedule.
Write out your plan before your big event and write out all the different scenarios. If you don't cross the finish line first, especially if it's your goal, write what's going to happen if you do, and then write out 3 different scenarios. Because then when it comes up, then you can thought about it.
You thought about it.
And then you can flex and go, I want to do that. I want more of that. I don't want this.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's always good to have a plan if you're a plan. Now, some people thrive by not having plans. I'm sure people listening right now know, it's hilarious sometimes how those two type of people marry. The arranger marries the non-arranger, and you're just like, what? Right? One person's booking all the flights everywhere. The other person wakes up at 6 a.m. Where are we going? Oh, is it our flight? Okay, I'll pack my bag and away we go. Dear. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
So lastly, then, it's the Olympic cycle. When does it really amp up for is it June? Is it way earlier, or is it a roller coaster here the next 9 months?
No, it's a progression. It's like an airplane taking off. It just builds, it builds, it builds.
I meant more mentally than the actual physical training.
I'm talking about that too.
Okay.
It's both. Because why would you change at the Olympics? Why would you try something new? No, you don't.
Okay.
It's not the time to try it. It's not time to go get a new pair of shoes or a new bike. I mean, if it breaks, well, that's another story. But it's just a progression so that you can fine tune it so that it becomes automatic, that it's your 7th sense.
Quickly, we got what people want to know about what your thoughts are on the mental aspect of baseball teams celebrating making the playoffs.
Making the playoffs?
Yeah. So when you make the playoffs in baseball, they have the huge celebration afterwards, right?
Yep.
They've got champagne in the dressing room, whatever. Now everyone's like, yeah, but you haven't won the championship. I'm like, yeah, but so what?
You celebrate the win. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you know what? The next morning is back to work.
Yes.
Is back to baseball, like training, preparation. Nothing changes.
It's not like the celebration that goes on Friday night. It's not like you wake up and now Sunday morning and you're like, oh, I'm still thinking about that party. No, you have fun for your 6-8 hours, whatever it is. Go to bed. Now it's a new day. And you can be like, hey, we blew off some steam. Now we focus again. I think there's a lot of hockey people. It's like, oh, Toronto lost because they celebrated. I'm like, Arizona celebrated just as much as Toronto, and they won. And they were the 6th
a win
seed.
is a win.
Yeah.
And you always celebrate your wins, whether they're
Thank
small,
you.
medium, large, or
Love it.
ginormous. It's just, that's what you do. You always celebrate your wins. Don't be like me and wait a year.
100%.
Like
yeah.
that's like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. I could see. Better being a good party, a year waiting. Better mean good.
It was really good.
Okay.
It was
nice.
fun.
I like it. Lorianne, always good to have you. Have yourself a great weekend.
You too. Take care.
That is Lori Ann Munzer joins us every Friday here on the Jason Gregor Show as our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. We'll return. We got lots of text to get to. Also, more on the Oilers lineup. All the big guns are going. Now, Ekholm's not playing, but he did skate today. Kulak didn't skate. Ryan McLeod skated, but he's not ready to go. He's very confident he'll be ready for Wednesday. Ekholm didn't want to say for sure because this injury has lingered a little bit longer than he'd hoped, but he feels, unless there's a setback, he should be ready to go on Wednesday as well. We'll return on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Ding, ding. The champ is back in the ring going toe-to-toe with the best flock and chicken wing special in town. Only at the Canadian Brewhouse. A minimum 1 pound order ain't no problem for the champ when they're only 69 cents all day Wednesday and all day Sunday. 2 days to enjoy one unbeatable offer on wings. With featured wing flavors of the month, Wednesday and Sundays just became a very serious wing thing. Both days, all day. 69 cents only at the Canadian Brewhouse.
Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
At Fountain Tire, save big during our Road Ready sales event until October 21st. Who wouldn't want up to 25% on select tires and a bonus of $50 off any service? A lizard, maybe? Or a ghost? Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
How low can they go? At Buy Low Foods, they can go way low. Get incredible savings on great products with the lowest buy. Only at Buy Low Foods.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition Blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show. on Sports 1440, also live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Islander fans are very upset because we mentioned that they've only had one roster change. They're trying, but Beauvillier, what are you talking about? Beauvillier and Horvat, that's 50 games. Why are you bringing up Beauvillier? Was Bo Horvat on the Islanders last year for more than half the season? Then he doesn't constitute being a new player on this year's team just because he wasn't on last year's opening roster. He was on their team for the last 50 games. So, and hey, I hope Pierre Engvall has a good year, but keep in mind, Pierre Engvall, to this date, his career high is 15 goals. So even if he scores 21, that just replaces Zach Parise's 21 goals. So I don't know. I don't see the Islanders being, being able to score. Hey, they might surprise me because they have an unreal goalie and they could win a lot of games defensively, but I don't have them. I don't have them in. Islander fans, I like the passion. They're all fired up. Now, let's go in the community, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle. And hockey days are on right now, where you can save up to 35% off. United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years. And speaking of hockey, we are joined by a former NHLer. He is, of course, the head coach of the U of A Golden Bears men's hockey program. Ian Herbers joins us on the show. Ian, welcome back. How you doing, man?
Good, Jason. Thank you. And I hear you talk about my old team, the Islanders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, and it's funny how the game has, like, the Islanders, you used to be able to win with kind of a defense-first mentality. You still have to have good defense, but you got to be able to outscore the opposition now more than out-defend them.
Good goaltending solves a lot of problems. So if your goalie's good, you can win a lot of games.
Is your goalie good?
Yeah, both of them are very good. Hopefully they're very, very good.
Yeah. I like how, because, it's funny is, like, fans, I don't think are much different than a coach. You look on your whiteboard and you go down your lineup and your goaltenders and your defense and your forwards, and you're like, yeah, I think we got a pretty good lineup. But until you start playing the games, you never really know, because there's so many things. Maybe a guy gets a little bit nicked up and, that impacts him, or maybe something's going on, him and his girlfriend. You never know. Like, there's still lots of kind of uncontrollable things that a coach kind of has to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, that's true. And then plus at the U of A, you got education as well. So the academics, a big term paper, didn't do well in a midterm, or classes aren't going the way they wanted, or couldn't get into the faculty they want. So there's another factor as well.
Do you need to be even more on top of that with your players, Ian? Like, you and the coach, like, asking all those sorts of questions?
Well, me and my staff and trainers, I use them a lot. We got Stu McKins that are in the dressing room every day with our players, and then Flo and Travis, our equipment guys, that are there as well. And I got a great group of assistant coaches, and then Stan Marple and myself. So between the group of us, and then our team leaders as well, using them and trying to figure things out and make sure we do stay on top. Once in a while, something does slip through, so getting on it right away and dealing with it as properly as we can.
So let's get to this weekend. Of course, you got a home and away, home tonight for anybody down at the Drake. You're taking on Mount Royal. What are you expecting from the Cougars?
They lost their two big forwards from the last couple of years that led the league in scoring. We played them once here in preseason, and they worked extremely hard, and they relied on a committee to score goals. So they'll be coming after us with four lines. Their D, very engaged, very involved. They'll be very aggressive on their penalty kill. Working on a spread on their power play. They played very well last weekend against Regina at home, so it'll be a tough test for us this weekend.
For anybody who's coming to watch the Bears for the first time this year, Ian, what would you say is the strength of your team?
We're still figuring that out right now. We had a lot of turnover the last 3 years. A lot of great people have graduated, and we're putting pieces together here. We've been dinged up a little bit. We had guys coming back from NHL camps from Arizona and Columbus. So we're just trying to figure our way through right now and get it all together. But for us, it's usually our work ethic, our compete. We have skill. Our goaltending is very good. And I like the new D we brought in. We got bigger and we're mobile back there.
It's funny, being a big defenseman yourself, it's the one thing that's never really changed, right? Size does matter at times. Now, obviously, we've seen some smaller skilled defensemen that do great, Ian, but size can be, the one difference maker. If you got a 6-foot defenseman and a 6'4" defenseman, their skill's the same. The 6'4" guy is just able to do more.
Just getting those shot lanes and stick. We preach a lot of stick on pucks, so just having that couple extra inches and then a couple extra inches on the stick on top of it, just getting sticks on pucks and blowing things up and blowing up opportunities, and especially penalty kill, getting in those lanes. Those are big tree trunks in the way and blocking a lot of shots.
Now, opening weekend didn't go necessarily how you wanted. In UBC, what do you need to see better from your squad this weekend?
Well, UBC's a very good team. They've basically carried over from last year where they pushed us to 3 games in the semifinals. They only lost 1 player and brought in a couple very good players. So they were in mid-season form. For us, we took too many penalties, and then our power play in preseason was rolling just under 30%, and we left UBC at 7%. So our power play's got to be way better, and we've got to stay out of the penalty box.
When you look, because your power play has been good all the time, when you look at it and it's 2 games, but what didn't you like about your power play? Were you guys too stationary, guys not shooting? What was happening?
Just lack of execution. We weren't making tape-to-tape passes, poor reads, poor decisions, net presence. We didn't have enough net presence. The one power play we did score, one of our guys was right in the goalie's eyes. It wasn't even a great shot, but with the guy in the eyes, he didn't see it and it went through. And that was our only goal on the power play. And we just got to get more guys there, be shot options and threats, and execute the plays, take what's given. Right now, I think our guys tried to force too many plays and tried to force things and make it happen instead of letting it happen, reading the play, and then taking advantage of it.
Ian, do you feel like, U of A has obviously been kind of the cream of the crop in men's hockey for a long time. Obviously, there's other programs that are very successful. They're competitive, but, the Bears have been a top dog for a long, long, long time. Now, I don't follow it as closely as I used to, but I look at it, it seems that there's more even competition across the board. As somebody who's been in there from a player perspective, a coach perspective on 2 different occasions, is it tighter now than it ever has been in your estimation?
Yeah. A big reason for that is the 2 new NHL teams. So there's probably less of a talent pool to draw from the Western Hockey League and the CHL. But it's good for the league. Instead of us just running away with it all the time and then getting to nationals where we get pushed and challenged, it's good to have that competition. Last year we lost in the Canada West finals, but we played very well, and we got to nationals and we played very well too. We just ran out of steam and a few bodies. So we need those challenges. It's better for the league, and it makes us better.
Well, I was just going to say, everybody likes winning, but there is something when you're winning 7-0 and 6-1 every weekend. I'm sure at times as a coach, you can be concerned, you can have maybe little bad habits creep in that don't impact you until suddenly you play good teams, and now you just can't erase it. So do you feel this is going to allow your team to be crisper and sharper for longer periods of time?
I agree. You need that adversity to be a better team. If you just sail through and it's easy, you're not going to achieve your full potential. So you need to be pushed. You need to be challenged. You need to things not go right sometimes. How does your team react? How do you react as a coaching staff? So put those guys in those difficult situations and you grow from it.
And before I let you go, Ian, one big change at the U of A this year, somebody who's been around there, man, for a long, long time. And I know it doesn't work directly with your team, but I know your paths crossed all the time. Give me your thoughts on Howie Draper. Finally getting the call. He's going to the show. Of course, he'll be coaching New York in the new women's professional hockey league. Tell me about Howie, a guy that you obviously knew quite well.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic for Howie. We were deep partners when we played together with the Bears.
Yeah.
Then our offices were joining. So that's great. He's worked very hard. He's done very well with the Pandas program. A new opportunity for him, a new challenge, and you're always looking for things to make you better. This will be a great experience for him. I think he'll do very well. He's done very well when he's obviously with the Pandas, but anytime he's represented Canada in the national teams. So I expect great things out of him. I'd like to pick his brain when he gets back and see how the season went for him.
Ian, always great to talk to you. Best of luck tonight and tomorrow, home and away against the Mount Royal Cougars. Appreciate your time.
Great. Thanks, Jason.
That is Ian Herbers, head coach of the U of A Golden Bears men's hockey program. I'd have to go back and look in the archives. When was the last time the Bears started a season 0-2? Like, it just doesn't happen, man, at all. Like, UBC's good. This is, you know what? Honestly, I felt you're going to go down to the Drake this year. And if you're watching men's hockey, I think you might be more entertained. I think there's going to be more competitive games. There's more competitive teams across the league. The Bears are still going to be good. Don't get me wrong. But, there might be a few more games and you go there and it's 4-3 rather than them spanking the team 7-1. I actually think that's better for them. So tonight, of course, at home against Mount Royal, and then they are on the road in Calgary tomorrow to take on Mount Royal. Then next weekend, it's the crosstown rivalry, the Golden Bears and McEwen going at it Friday and Saturday. I was in the community, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle. 35% off hockey days right now at United Sport and Cycle. 3:39. We got lots and lots of texts to get to. We will hear from Jay Woodcroft, Matthias Ekholm, as well as Ekholm. We'll give you the update in Ekholm, and we'll outline what are the options and the possibilities for the Oilers when it comes to salary cap, when it comes to the roster. This is what we know for sure. Well, I guess I shouldn't say for sure. Unless somebody goes on LTIR, the Oilers are having a 21-man roster to start the season. There's a little bit of extra money that could be accrued if you keep Peterson instead of Lavoie. But then obviously there's the higher potential risk of losing Lavoie. But I'll say this. There's a risk potentially of even losing Peterson on waivers. He was claimed on waivers last year. He's a right shot, 25-year-old centerman who has some NHL experience. So either one, the Oilers, whichever one they don't keep and have to put on waivers, they'll probably be a little concerned because I don't think they want to lose either one of them. Right? They need some depth. All of a sudden, you have two injuries. You might have to recall, one of those guys for sure, and the other one would have to take a bigger role in the lineup. So you definitely want depth. And the Oilers right now, just because of 21, like if it was a 23-man roster, they might just keep both of them. They wouldn't have to worry about it. Right? So that's the challenge that the salary cap presents. Quick break. We'll return. Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
How do we do it? Well, at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
It's an action-packed long weekend of Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place, starting Saturday night against the Prince Albert Raiders.
Then it's a Thanksgiving Monday matchup with the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Bring boxes of mac and cheese to use as noisemakers. Then donate to Edmonton's food bank after the game.
And every home game, score all new kids' food combos for $10 or less. The value is king size.
Edmonton, Prince Albert, Saturday at 7.
Oil Kings, Hurricanes. Special Holiday Monday, noon puck drop.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place, starting at just $20 a seat. Save on day-of-game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
It's a triumphant return to the airwaves. Hi, I'm Colin from Cantork, and this is a great call. Cantork proudly continues our partnership with Jason Gregor, eagerly rejoining his team on Sports 1440.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference. Volvo of Edmonton.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports 20.
At jackpotcity.net, you can do amazing things with just one casino chip. Discover a world of incredible casino games with over 500 high-quality online slot games, including the world-renowned progressive jackpot slot Mega Moolah. Play for free at jackpotcity.net and get treated as a VIP 24/7. So visit jackpotcity.net today on your tablet, laptop, or mobile. Jackpot City, a whole world of casino games. 18 plus, please play responsibly. This is not a gambling website.
Hey, all you farmers out there, are you ready for harvest? Call Murray's Truck Parts Locators. Murray is here to help with any parts or repairs you may need for your grain hauling truck and trailers. Also offering a special discount for anyone with farm plates this season. You'll get the best service when you're in need with the quickest turnaround time.
Call Murray's Truck Parts, 780-678-2128. Open Saturdays too.
Murray's Truck Parts Locators, just minutes west of Camrose.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Roger Weird and his team at Weird, Pearson, Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management, helping business owners and professionals build, protect, and enjoy their wealth. Learn more now and call Roger and his team at 988-4119.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Positive Friday. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. I'm Gregor. He's Connor Halley. You are whoever you are, wherever you're listening or watching. Oilers Nation YouTube, maybe streaming us on Stingray iHeartRadio app, which is fantastic. I know some of you like to listen in your office at sports1440.ca. However you listen and consume the show, we appreciate it. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Gregor, you know who has zero chance of getting claimed? Janmark, Sam in Vancouver. Yeah, maybe you're right. But guess what? Janmark is a more proven player today than Lane Peterson. I don't understand what, so all Matthias Janmark does is play sound defensive hockey and chip in double digits in goals every year. It makes $1 million. And you want to get rid of him? Why? Because you like the shiny toy that Lavoie might be? Again, the exact same thing people are saying about Lavoie today is what they said about Holloway last year. It is hard in the regular season, right? I don't put much stock in what guys do in the preseason and neither should you, because you get burnt. Ty Ratty, Anton Lander, Dylan Holloway, go down the list of guys. It happens all across the league. It's not NHL. Now, tonight is a very close facsimile to an NHL roster. Look at Seattle. They got pretty much their NHL team going. Not 100% because Vince Dunn isn't in the lineup, and that's a pretty big guy out, and so Evans is in. Good young defenseman, but he's not Vince Dunn. Right? You got to stop overhyping preseason. Stop it. You're going to get fooled. Okay? I hope Raphael Lavoie turns out to be good, but expecting Raphael Lavoie to be a difference maker or an impactful defensive player his first year in the league is asking a lot. It just is. He's got a really good shot. He might score you 8 or 10 goals, but he doesn't kill penalties. You're not going to put him on the ice in the final few minutes where they would trust Janmark at times. We saw it last year, right? So it's different. You have to look at big picture. Right? Coaches make their lineups based on non-emotion. They don't just, geez, this Lavoie kid was really good in the American League. Well, hey, let's just give him ice time. We're going to throw him in the top 9. You know what? We'll bump some guys down. Like Warren Fogle has been very consistent. If Raphael Lavoie has a career like Warren Fogle, he'd be pretty happy. It's hard to be more than a 15-goal scorer year in and year out. Really hard. So I think people have to be more cognizant of it. Hey, guys, Gleason should not be taken seriously either. He's not that good. He's a number 7. Lavois, potentially, he's young. His defensive game has gotten better. I'm a prospect nerd. Trust me, Carmen. Okay, so Carmen, you say you're a prospect nerd. I'll trust you on that. And do you know how old Raphael Lavoie is? Right? Raphael Lavoie, 23, just turned, right? He's 2 years younger than Gleason. It's not like we're talking at a 28-year-old. Right? And I don't think anybody has ranked Ben Gleason as even making the roster. No one's really talked about it. All we've said is, hey, Gleason's, you know what? He's jumped ahead of Niemelainen in the pecking order, I think. That's really about it. If the Oilers got into defensive trouble with injuries early in the season, Gleason would most likely be the first recall based on how he's played in the preseason. Now, in 2 months, maybe Niemelainen wakes up and plays to the level that they think he's capable of. Then maybe he would be the first recall. But right now, that's all it is. I haven't heard anybody pumping up Ben Gleason. So I don't see the need to want to have to tear the guy down. Potential. No one said Raphael Lavoie didn't have potential. Lots of guys have potential. It doesn't mean they reach it in the NHL. Because if every player with potential reached it in the NHL, we'd have 150, 200 new players every year in the league that are there all the time. But they're not, because it's a hard league. It's really difficult. And if you want the Oilers to win, like I said, how many rookies were on Vegas? How many rookies were on Tampa when they won? How many rookies were on Colorado? The champion competitive teams rarely, when they win, have rookies because it's hard league. And come playoff time, experience helps. Being able to calm yourself down in those crucial moments makes a big difference. So you can get excited about Lavoie. But even if Raphael Lavoie makes a team out of camp, he's going to have to play very well because, trust me, Ken Holland, he's going to be looking at a lot of options come the trade deadline. And you know what? If there's a veteran player who's got 60 playoff games of experience and has maybe scored you 15 goals 3 or 4 times and he comes available, guess what? It's going to be a big opportunity that I don't think they will overlook. I don't think they can. So they're in win now mode. And that's where the younger guys, you know what? They'll have to be patient. And I think they know it, right? And the good news is the Oilers roster is harder to make now. Younger guys don't get gifted opportunities because they got a deeper team. So. Hey, Gregor, I don't hate Janmark. This is about maximizing your option throughout the season. In what sense? Because you're saying for sure Janmark. Well, how do you know for sure Janmark won't get claimed? Because he didn't get claimed last year? Things change. Maybe teams look at how he played in Edmonton, because remember he got waived last year at the start of the year. And usually when you play on good teams, people notice you more. Rightly or wrongly, that's what happens. Janmark's $1 million player. Someone might claim him. No one knows for certain. But I'll say this. Jay Woodcroft is not going to send a veteran that he trusts down just because they're worried about it. Like, they're not going to keep. Why would they keep Peterson ahead of Janmark? Why would they do that? Has he shown anything to this stage that he's a better NHL player? Doesn't make any sense to me. So. Hey, Greggs, I'm curious about the Elks and Trey Ford. Farhan Lalji mentioned just learning how to look off different routes. How does he get better at that? Well, a lot of it's experience. He hasn't had a ton of pocket time. If you look at, in college, didn't play a massive amount of games. And then in like the CFL, this is really his first full season getting reps. So I just think it just comes down with more experience. Like, look at any sport. We'll see guys, they play 1, they play 2, they play 3 years. Now, obviously, it depends how many minutes you're playing. The best thing that Trey Ford is getting right now is he's the starter, he's the finisher. Every game, you know what? How many pass attempts is he getting? 30, give or take? Well, no, not 30, actually, only 25. I think the more pass attempts he gets. But he's in the pocket, he's getting all the snaps. And so sometimes he's going to have to learn, you know what? Option 1's not there. Option 2, I'll be able to read quick enough to get to my third receiver rather than just tucking the ball in and running. Because that's like the comfort zone for him because he's good at it. And I get it. He's very good at it. But eventually you want him to be able to hold in there and be like, oh, you know what? Boom. Now I go down the field because now 2 things happen. Now sometimes they're not going to bring, they're going to be covering different because now they respect his arm. Like when people compare him to Doug Flutie threw for 6,000 yards. He wasn't a crazy rusher. Now, he could run when needed, but he killed you with his arm. And so, as great of a weapon it is to be a scrambling quarterback, Damon Allen. Damon Allen could run like the wind. Look how many passing yards he had. Right? You still, as a quarterback, it's all about passing yards.
Yeah, simple answer, reps. That's how you learn. You learn the tendencies of defenses. Obviously, when you're a young quarterback, there's things they can do to bait you into making throws you shouldn't be making. It's just going to come with time, reps, and coaching.
Yeah. Hey, Gregor, Holloway's waiver exempt. Why is he getting penciled in? Well, because, Craig, he was Holloway's been way better. For his first 3 games, Holloway was the Oilers' best player. He was the most noticeable forward. Holloway has played so well in the preseason that tonight he gets a night off. Now, A, he's played 5 games already. But B, the coaches are like, hey, kid, you've earned your spot. Like Dylan Holloway, I have no doubt in my mind that I'm not sending Dylan Holloway down, who right now is a better, more impactful player than Peterson or Lavoie. I'm not doing it because my job as Jay Woodcroft is to win games. And I believe that Dylan Holloway gives me a better chance. Dylan Holloway's been very good. He's using his speed more. He's more comfortable with the puck. I think we're going to see Dylan, like, obviously he didn't play a ton of minutes last year. And that was fine. But you watch, I think Dylan Holloway, now when I say breakout, I don't think he's suddenly going to score 20. That'd be unbelievable. But the thing about Dylan Holloway is, if you get an injury in the top 6, I think he's probably your best option to go in there. And all of a sudden, if you're playing 20, 30, 40, 50 games in the top 6 with McDavid or Draisaitl, you're going to have a good chance to score. Now, that doesn't guarantee it. Oiler fans can attest. We've seen it the last few years. Yamamoto, he had 1 year where he did it. Then the others he struggled. Yes, Puljujärvi, same thing. So there's no guarantee. But, man, I like how Dylan Holloway's look. There is zero chance that I'd be sending him to the minors. Not even a consideration for me. And I don't think it's one for the Oilers, to be honest. Craig Button, Speck, Wanye Gretz, Al Mitchell. We got wall-to-wall hockey coverage in the final 2 hours of the show today. Of course, we'll talk NHL, we will talk Oilers, and more after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Now, remember, once the weather hits 7 degrees for 7 days in a row, it's a good time to get your tires changed. Doesn't really matter if there's snow on the ground. It's the temperature change that matters more as a signal to change your tires. Book yours now at fountaintire.com. Here's Connor Halley.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Oilers wrapping up their preseason, taking on the Seattle Kraken down at Rogers Place. Puck drop set for 7. Elsewhere, the Penguins and Buffalo Islanders host the Devils. Preds take on the Hurricanes and the Flames. In action as well. Week 18 in the CFL, the Elks in Toronto taking on the Argos. Kickoff 5 o'clock. Later on, Lions host the Bombers. That one gets going at 8. In the AJ, the Saints hosting the Calgary Canucks. Puck drop at 7. More action in the AJ as the Crusaders are in Fort Mac. Brooks takes on Drayton Valley. Canmore in Brooks and Olds battles Bonnyville. The Golden Bears in action tonight, taking on Mount Royal down with the Drake. Down gets going at 7. Rematch tomorrow down in Calgary. On the flip side, the Pandas, they're in Calgary tonight, taking on MRU. They'll host them tomorrow at the Drake. That one starts at 7. And from the NFL, the Chicago Bears have traded Canadian wide receiver Chase Claypool to the Dolphins for a 2025 pick swap And the San Francisco 49ers acquiring Randy Gregory from the Denver Broncos. That's also a pick swap. Coming up in hour 3 of the show, we'll be joined by Wanye Gretz of Oilers Nation, Craig Button from the NHL on TSN, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Come into Jiffy Lube for a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change and receive a $20 digital gift card to one of over 30 merchants, such as Starbucks or Tim Hortons. For a location near you, visit jiffylubeservice.ca. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
It's time to gear up for fall at Wolf GMC Buick, but there's a catch. We'll get to that. You're not going to pay high rates like 6.9%. You'll pay 0% financing on all in-stock GMC Sierra half-ton Pro Editions, and that's for 60 months. You'll also save $750 if you're a Costco member. 0% financing for 60 months on all in-stock GMC Sierra half-ton Pro Editions. The catch? You'll need to get here ASAP because inventory is cruising off the lot pretty quickly.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice?
Then choose Ewell.
Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time.
Plus winning quality. They only stock the best.
And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers.
So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit Ewell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. United's annual Hockey Days sale is on now. Save up to 20% off on skates, 25% off on equipment, and 35% off on all Pro Stock sticks. United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Are you one of those people out there looking for something different to heat and cool your home? Weiss Johnson is Edmonton's cold climate heat pump specialist and would love to explain to you how Trane heat pumps are a reliable, cost-effective alternative for your home's heating and cooling needs. Order your Trane heat pump now and take advantage of the generous government rebates that are available. Trane, it's hard to stop a Trane. Call the most experienced HVAC company around with over 45 years in business. Visit wjcools.com today.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents stop pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
How low can they go? At Buy Low Foods, they can go way low. Stock up and save big when you buy more of select products. Only at Buy Low Foods.
When skies turn gray and chaos unfolds, there's always a beacon of hope. The Red Cross. Through floods, fires, and unforeseen calamities, they are the helping hands, mending wounds and restoring faith. You can make a huge difference. Visit redcross.ca. Donate today. Light a lamp of hope.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolling through. Lovely day outside. It's great. Hope you're having an awesome one. I'm Jason Gregor. Connor Halley. Gregor Show is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And we are coming to you live from the E-Well studio. E-W-E-L. Well, they have the highest advancements in electric technology. They also have a wheel. So they have like a staff. And so people who want to go to order games because they have tickets, and then they have this makeshift wheel that they spin, and everybody puts their name on it, and then they spin, and if your name comes up, then you win. So I'm not sure their wheel of tickets is very high tech, but their electrical products are excellent. EWEL.ca. I saw it, I was dying laughing. It's so fun, but you know what? Hey, probably causes good camaraderie amongst the staff to see your name come up on the wheel. I don't know if they call it the wheel of tickets, but maybe we should get one of those cons. Get a little wheel you can just spin around.
I like that. Like a really massive one?
No, it wasn't that big.
Well, I think we got to go big with ours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, speaking of going big, we're getting a TV installed in the studio just in time for the regular season next week. Because, hey, man, you got to be able to watch the game. That's pretty obvious. So that'll be nice. We welcome in our Friday contributor to the program, Wanye Gretz.
I'm glad I got in on this before we blew up and got a TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I was here day one. I remember when we didn't even have a TV. New guys and gals.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? If there's something to be part of it at the beginning.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You were here from week one.
Week one.
Yes.
This is week 4.
Five.
Mm-hmm. I believe you. Just like the NFL season, 1 week ahead.
Yes, that's right. So week 5, we're still on the air. Everything is we've got a few little small things to sort out. I think they'll be done by next week, and away we go, which is quite nice. So there is the 8th preseason game. Shoot me now. I would love the NHL to cap because they have a minimum that you have to play as 5. Although last year Carolina only played 4, no one caught on until the end, and then they kind of got in trouble. But by then it was too late.
What'd they do to them? Nothing. That's what they did.
Exactly
nothing.
But this year they're playing 6. So every team plays 6, but then there's 9 teams who play 8, and a few teams who play 7. There's no reason to play 8.
I'm going tonight. I'm thrilled they're playing the 8th game tonight.
Well, tonight could be the 6th game.
This could be the funnest night of the whole preseason.
You'd be equally thrilled if it was 6 games. Because here's the advantage. You could start the regular season earlier. You could start playoffs earlier. That'd be better.
I'm going to tell you a little secret about preseason hockey. The booze is in regular season form.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
It's regular season prices, I'll tell you that.
Darn right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's nice. So the orders will be icing pretty close to their regular season lineup. McDavid, Kane, Brown, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins. Fogle is in. Janmark's in. Ryan's in. Peterson, Lavoie, and Ernie are all in. They're all battling. Ernie's going to play with Janmark and Ryan. Peterson's going to center Lavoie and Fogle. Now, Dylan Holloway's not in, but he's healthy. He's already played 5 games. I think he's just getting a night off. He's played well. They don't need to see him. They wanted Lavoie, Peterson, and Ernie, who are all battling for that final spot, to get a shot in the lineup. So they're in. And Ryan McLeod skated the last 2 days. He was very optimistic. I had a long chat with him afterwards that, everything is good. He, he's got one final step to get to, and he thinks, he should get 100% clearance by hopefully Sunday. And he's feeling that he should be ready to go on Wednesday. Matthias Ekholm has had a few good days of practice. Today was his first day with the group, though. And he didn't want to commit 100%. And the only reason that he would play on Wednesday was, he said, this has taken a little bit longer than he had hoped. He thought he'd be back a week ago, but it's just lingered. He didn't want to say exactly what it was, and that's fine. But, kind of a hip flexor thing. So it's lingered longer, but he's pretty confident by the sounds of it that he should be ready to go by Wednesday. Doesn't think there'll be a lot of rust on it because he didn't play preseason games and on. He says, hey, I've been around the league a long time. But he did talk about how he's never really been injured. He hasn't missed a lot of games. So he hasn't, he says, and it was interesting because I always like talking to Ekholm because he talked to the group of media guys today, and he mentioned how, he's seen guys go through injuries, and some guys get really caught up in themselves. They're so focused on themselves. They don't come to team meetings. They don't hang out. And he's like, he thought because it's preseason, it's early. He was at every team meeting. And even when he skated early by himself in the morning, he would stick around to hang out with the guys afterwards. He's been talking to Broberg and Desharnais and the young guys, giving him any feedback if they want. He says there's one thing to Broberg is when you get the puck, go. You can skate, get up the ice, be more aggressive. So watch for that tonight with Broberg. If he gets the puck, if you see him going a little bit more, because he is probably, I think, he might even skate better than Kulak, who's a really good skater, but it's close, right? Like Nurse is their best skating defenseman, and Kulak can really move, and I think Broberg's right there as well. So look for that when you're going tonight to see it, and he won't play. Brett Kulak didn't skate, and so that's where things could potentially, and I say that word in capital letters, potentially, be a little dicey, because if Brett Kulak isn't ready to go Wednesday, and for whatever reason Ekholm isn't ready to go Wednesday, then when they decide, and they probably have to make, and the tough part is they'll have to make a move. I guess they could set the roster and then change it 2 days later. Then they'd have to recall Gleason. And then have to send somebody down who either Lavoie or Peterson, who's ever left. Because no offense, I don't think Adam Ernie's in the conversation. I could be wrong, but I don't see Adam Ernie getting a contract and both Peterson and Lavoie going down. I don't see that scenario unfolding. Who do you think ultimately? Is it Lavoie or Peterson? Do you care at this point?
I think Lavoie. I think he's had a good preseason, right? He's earned his spot, hasn't he?
Well, him and Peterson have both played well, for sure, right? I do, and I know for a fact when you're an organization and you draft a player in the second round and you put in some time for development, you don't just want to lose him. And that might not be fair to Peterson, but it's just the truth that you've got more equity right now in Lavoie.
You got to let that cage bird fly too. If they can't make the team, you got to let them fly. Maybe they can make one of the other 31 squads.
That's a fact. And I've said this before, Oilers of the 2010s, 11s, 12s, whatever, you didn't make that Oilers team. You're like, geez, do other teams want you? But now you're like, geez, Raphael Lavoie can't crack the Oilers, who are cup contender. He probably could crack Anaheim if they wanted him, or he could crack Montreal, Arizona. You know what I mean? Like, it's just different now. So that's a factor. But I also want to point out Sokolov just went through waivers. He's 6'3", 225-pound right winger. He's the same age as Raphael Lavoie. He's had back-to-back 50-point seasons in the American League. He's actually played some NHL games. So it's not a guarantee that he would get claimed. Now, I can see why they don't want to risk it, because there is a chance. So I think it's probably Lavoie. But the wild card in all of this is the health of the Oilers back end and the fact that they can only have a 21-man roster. And you can play a game with 19 skaters if you have 6 defensemen. You don't really want to play a game with 12 forwards and 5 defensemen if you can avoid it. That's not it. Now, you could do it. Like Darnell Nurse could play one game when they have, on Wednesday and play 30 minutes a night, and they don't play again until Saturday. He could easily do it, right? And you could have other guys that can eat minutes. It wouldn't be the end of the world. It just wouldn't be ideal.
See that Darnell Nurse haters? There's ways he's going to earn his money. He's going to play 30 minutes a game, or he's going to burn him out the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it is funny. There's lots of people that dislike Darnell Nurse.
Darnell Nurse could play 41 minutes a night and have 200 points. There'd be people in this city who still wouldn't like him.
That's actually probably true.
He's just one of those guys. You get the big contract and you've got the target on your back, and some people can never get over it.
Hey, guys, are we rushing Ekholm? If he is injured or needs time to fully recover, why rush him from Ron? No, actually, Ron, I think total opposite. Right? Ekholm said, you know what? We have all this extra time. We're taking extra time. So, no, I don't think they're rushing him at all based on, like, we haven't seen him even on the ice with the main group until today. So, I don't think they're rushing him. It's just, now this is his words, and most athletes get frustrated. Rehab can be, what did he say? Well, I don't want to use the word lonely, but I can see how it is. Like you're kind of used to being in a pack, right? It's like your wolf pack, to quote one of the greatest lines ever in cinematic history. And then when you're injured, you don't necessarily feel part of it. So trust me, most guys would like to get back quicker. And when the trainers are like, pull the reins back, they just don't like it.
I remember Ryan Smith doing an interview a long time ago when he hurt his ankle, and he said it was like being on an island. And he said, no man wants to be on an island. And I said, that's a brilliant quote, Smitty. You're one of the goats.
Yeah, that's fair. No one does. Like when you play hockey or you play any team sport, one of the best parts of it is just feeling part of a group, right? Like when you play men's league now, how many of you, or, women's league, whatever, you're playing rec hockey as an adult. Are you there for the game, or are you there for the camaraderie and the hanging out with people? Because I know how many people will tell you, oh, you're playing men's league. The dressing room culture matters more than your ability on the ice, right? Because you might have some guys that, you're a good group of friends, and you got some guys that are like former minor pro players or NCAA or dub players. But then you got two buddies on your team that are just like really good guys, and they're super fun and they're funny.
They
and
pay
like,
their fees in advance.
Yeah, that's probably true, right? Or maybe they bring in the cooler, whatever it is. But you're like, those guys are just as important because you don't really care. Like, the dream's over. You're not getting scouted in rec league, okay? Even though some still play like they are.
Some people can make that jump, though, from River Cree 11:30 on a Tuesday night to playing in the NHL. Some people can make those jumps, Geiger. It's just not a lot of people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's the odd one.
The odd guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's true. So I get why in the NHL all of a sudden that, and you're probably even more tight knit because when you play rec league, you get together on the Monday night or the Wednesday night, but then you go home and you're married or you got a girlfriend or whatever. You're not hanging out all the time. You're in a hockey team. You practice every day. You go for lunch with a few guys every day. When you're on the road, you're on a 10-game road trip. You're together all the time.
How many jobs are there out there where you get together with 23 of your coworkers and go away for 5 days?
Yeah. And get to play hockey, right? Like do something that you all love. Normally with your coworkers, there's a few of them are like, God, I hate this job. This sucks.
Some hockey players are like that, though. Some pro athletes. Look at Joe Kick in the NBA coming back to work, and he looks like the most miserable man on earth.
Nah, he's just a pretty, you know what, though? That's his personality. His teammates say he's a ball of fun all
but
the time.
But he says, I don't want to be here, though. He's very explicit about it. For some of these pro athletes, it is a job.
Well, I don't know. Has he said he didn't want to be there? He just says he didn't want football. He has other things in his life that interest him.
When you see him walking up to the opening seat, his hands are in his pockets. He's got a hangdog expression. He's looking all sad. The social media people can't even draw a smile out of him. He wants to be back home overseas racing horses, dancing. Have you seen the video of him dancing in the club after his horse won?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know he could smile like that.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He's got other interests. But all I know is that guy balls when it matters. So his teammates like, you can have permascowl. I don't care. When you show up on game day, you're one of the best passers we've ever seen.
It's not a smiling contest.
He's making magic. Like he can pass the ball like Magic Johnson. And he's bigger than Magic Johnson, which is crazy. So I'm actually, he's one of those guys that is, for me, if there is a certain NBA game on, I want to watch Denver right now because he's like Steph Curry. I want to watch for his shooting abilities. LeBron James in his heyday was a freak. Now, and right now the Joker is one of those guys where I'm like, if I got 15 minutes to watch basketball, I hope Denver's on.
I think about him, though, loving horse racing so much in the off season. I think about the Nuge also owning a horse race. How great would it be to see the Nuge in the winner's circle doing a dance like the Joker was in the off season?
Well, his horse, that's all he does is win.
But he doesn't dance.
Well, there's maybe no video of it. You don't know that.
I'd love to see it.
Mm-hmm. But Nugent Hopkins' horse, I think it won, like it had a streak.
Infinite Patience?
Yes, it won 10 consecutive races. So
bring him by.
It's not bad.
Where's he racing? Where's he running these races? All in BC?
No, there's a few in Alberta, and I think he might have raced one in the States. I got to double check. Don't quote me on that one. I don't want to claim falsehoods, but yeah, I think there was a few in other places, not just in BC. So, and he loves it. Like, trust me, the best thing to do is ask Nugent Hopkins before I interview him about hockey. I ask him two racing questions just off. Now all of a sudden he's relaxed. He's in a good mood. Okay, let's talk about the power play. It's way easier.
Do you know how he got into it?
You know what? I've never read that.
It's such a strange fact for a guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who we know so little about. He's such a quiet guy off the ice and even on the ice quiet, that there's this weird fact sitting there by itself. Like, oh, but he also owns and runs a racehorse.
I think there was someone in his family, but who was in. I got to double check on that. But that's what my gut is telling me, and I could be wrong on that. But that's what I think. You know what? It's Positive Friday. Guys, Nurse is a $5-6 million defenseman on a $9 million contract. If anything, I'm at the front office. Forrest, you're so wrong. I can't even say it. He's a top 10 scoring defenseman 5-on-5. Okay, he's not a $5 or $6 million defense. Do you know that Darnell Nurse? And you can go to Thank Wood Guy for puckiq.com. It's a fantastic website. Go there and then go look at who plays the most minutes against elite forwards in the league. In the league. Oh, geez, Darnell Nurse. But he's a $5 million defenseman. It's so incredibly inaccurate. You can dislike Darnell Nurse, but don't make claims like that. If you want to say Darnell Nurse is $8 million defenseman, 8.5, I could probably live with that. I can probably live with it. Like I said, go compare the production. Go compare ice time, the actual stats that they look at for defensemen. Go compare them to Dougie Hamilton and Seth Jones and Zach Werenski and Morgan Riley. Go compare it. And then go do the average of all their contracts. You know what it is? It's $8.625 million. So if you want to get your shorts in a knot about a $600,000 overpay, knock yourself out. But that's what it is. But don't make egregiously false claims that he's a $5 or $6 million defenseman. Okay? And then to the Einsteins, like, yeah, but Cale Makar. Doesn't matter. That's not the point. Is Leon Draisaitl? People look and say bargain deal, right? That's what they say. It doesn't mean that guys who make more than him are terrible. It's because he got a good contract at the right time. That's what it means. Cale Makar wasn't a UFA. If you can't understand that comparing UFA contracts to RFA contracts is different, I can't help you. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Right? Like, I'll ask this. What would you need to hear to believe that Darnell Nurse isn't a $5 or $6 million defenseman? Honestly, that's the question. So tell me what your answer is. Because otherwise you're wrong and it's pointless. And I'm done discussing Darnell Nurse's contract. I'm never mentioning again in the show, honestly, because it's stupid. It's pointless. His contract is what it is. There's massive amounts of actual data and articles written about it. And if you don't want to take the time to look it up, I can't help you.
Are you telling me if you bring up Darnell Nurse's contract again that there's a punishment associated with it?
No, not at all. I'm just not going to mention the number.
I thought maybe you were going to lay it out there and guarantee you'd never discuss it again.
You can mention it.
I love talking about Darnell Nurse's contract.
Mention it because it's a stupid argument that's been proven false by the people who claim he's a $5 and $6 million.
So what if Connor and I can get you to bring up Darnell Nurse's contract again? Do we win a prize?
Sure.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I'll get you a popsicle.
Positive Friday popsicles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
challenge accepted.
Yeah. Hey, guys, people want him scaled back on offense and played better defense. Was a better PK guy. The Oilers' penalty kill last year wasn't very good. But then go look at it 2 other years. It was very good. You know what the number one thing that changed on the penalty kill last year to the previous years? Goaltender save percentage. Goalies make more saves. Everybody looks better. As for playing better defense, go look at Darnell Nurse's numbers defensively. And go look at who he plays against. When you play the most minutes against elite forwards, guess what? And not by a little bit, by a lot. Now, part of that's because the Oilers didn't have anybody else, right? So, any defenseman who has to play that many more minutes against elite guys, guess what? Now you're putting yourself in a position you're going to get scored on more. Doesn't mean that Darnell Nurse is perfect. Can Darnell Nurse improve some areas of his game? 100%.
Does this count as talking about his contract?
Did I mention a number? I did not.
You were very close.
I'm talking about his play on the ice. And if you want to evaluate,
yeah.
And that's to me, evaluate his play on the ice. Yeah. Go look at the numbers. They're all right there. You can search them up. Take 2 seconds to look at it.
He's one of very few Oilers in recent memory, too, who will answer the bell 10 times out of 10 if he's on the ice. I can't count the number of times you've seen players skate by a scrum on their way to the bench. Darnell Nurse always is ready to drop the gloves or lay out a check. And there's a value to that too.
Yeah. Oh, hey, lots of factors. Connor Halley has his hosting. Connor, where are you tonight? We're leaving early. Where are you going?
I am heading out to Spruce Grove to watch the Elks take on the Argos. Yeah.
Oh.
Like I said, going to fill up the tank because gas is cheaper out in Spruce and stop by my favorite cookie shop. Make a little day of it.
How come you've never brought any of your favorite cookie shop into the studio?
Well, I'd have to go to Spruce, then come back to make sure they're fresh.
Day of only?
I got the cinnamon buns out there. What more do I need to do?
It's true. It's true.
I'll bring cookies.
Next time you go to Spruce Grove on a weekday?
Yeah, next time I go out there on a weekday morning, I'll bring some back.
You can't just heat them up. They're not as good.
I mean, they would be good.
Yeah, all right.
We'll see. We'll see. Not this time, though, because over 2 days, it wouldn't be fair.
All right. Well, the Duke will be taking over for the con man. All right. Thanks, buddy. Let's get to a quick break. When we come back, Craig Button will join us on Sports 1440 and live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The Bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
What you eating there?
Oh, just a Leon's $10,000 shopping spree in a Chevy Colorado.
How do you plan to get all that from a Big Mac?
Monopoly Double Play.
Monopoly Double Play?
First, I peel on pack, then I peel an app. 2 ways to play and win.
So basically, you're potentially holding the most lucrative Big Mac ever?
No, I'm potentially eating the most lucrative Big Mac ever.
Now you can double play at McDonald's for more ways to win millions of prizes. While supplies last, chances of winning change as prices are claimed. Chances of winning McD's at prices based on time of code entry. See rules at participating McDonald's in Canada or at McDpromotion.ca.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction in sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Volvo of Edmonton.
It's an action-packed long weekend of Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place, starting Saturday night against the Prince Albert Raiders.
Then it's a Thanksgiving Monday matchup with the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Bring boxes of mac and cheese to use as noisemakers. Then donate to Edmonton's food bank after the game.
And every home game, score all new kids' food combos for $10 or less. The value is king size.
Edmonton, Prince Albert, Saturday at 7.
Oil Kings, Hurricanes. Special Holiday Monday, noon puck drop.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place, starting at just $20 a seat. Save on day and game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Corporate Business Solutions is celebrating 22 years of local service, local support, local always. Established in 2001, Corporate Business Solutions has grown to become the largest Konica Minolta digital office equipment dealer in Western Canada. When you call CBS, you'll always speak with a live person, just like you and your business deserve. Thank you to our loyal customers for their 22 years of continued support. Our success is owed to you. For local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Summer might now be a memory, but there's still some time to enjoy some summer fun. Time to upgrade your golf game and save some cash while you do it. Check out the Leduc Golf Club Summer Clearance Sale. On now. Upgrade your look with up to 30% off clothing, shoes, and Maui Gym sunglasses. But don't just look good, play good too. Book a round before the weather turns. Say goodbye to summer one last time with the Summer Clearance Sale at Leduc Golf Club. On now.
When Ottawa's proposed electricity regulations make electricity unaffordable, you may have to make some hard choices.
Winter boots for my kids.
Groceries for my family.
Our mortgage.
My rent. Braces.
A rainy day fund.
Visit tellthefeds.ca to learn why your power bill could be 4 times higher than today. And tell the feds, affordable and reliable electricity matters. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portion of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantor.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on. Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube. I'm Jason Gregor alongside Wanye Gretz because it's time to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Monopoly is back right now. Peel on your pack, then peel in your app. For a limited time, see all the rules at mcdpromotion.ca. More chances to play in store and on the app. mcdpromotion.ca. As we welcome back to the show, the first time on Sports 1440, our regular Friday contributor, Craig Button. Butts, how you doing?
I am great. It's great to be part of your new domain and your domicile, and couldn't be happier to staying with you. I love being part of your show, Jason.
Awesome, Craig. Well, we love to have you. Always have good insights. Never afraid to share your opinion. When makes it great. So I was actually a little surprised I didn't bring you in the Oilers had a big pickleball tournament, but you didn't get the invite for that. So maybe you'll have to play their champions, Broberg and Holloway, next.
I like my chances. I already know their weaknesses. I like my chances. I think we could do a charity thing and raise some money.
Oh, well, you might. Well, the best part was there was many Oilers that were upset that Broberg and Holloway won because they felt like they shouldn't have won. It was awesome. So lots of Fogle and Bouchard said they choked. McDavid felt like his side of the bracket was too strong. It was hilarious. Hilarious.
Don't you love it? See, pickleball is serious. Like a lot of, and there's another great example. Everybody thinks that pickleball is for people over 50. There's the greatest hockey player on the planet right now is not complaining. That wouldn't be the right way, but didn't like his side of the bracket. He's playing. Bouchard's playing. All these young guys are playing.
Yeah, they are, Craig. It's true. Now, I want to ask you about playing in the Atlantic Division. I think Toronto's going to finish first, but what do you make of Boston? Tampa's goalie's out for the first 2 months. Florida's got some key injuries with Montour and Ekblad. A lot of people think Buffalo's on the up and up. What do you make of the Atlantic Division after Toronto?
Well, obviously there's a changing of the guard in some respects. Boston, and let's not forget last year at this time, Jason, there was a lot of what are the Boston Bruins, and we saw what they became over the course of the year. Jim Montgomery did a great job. Set an all-time record with respect to points. And, then they ran into injuries at the worst possible time, playoff time, and they went out. They have excellent goaltending. Their blue line is still really good. They still have really good players. And some of their younger players are going to get an opportunity. Don Sweeney has said this is an opportunity for us to see what we have with some of our younger players, see how they handle increased playing time, understand how they can integrate themselves into the lineup. I see the Bruins in the playoffs. I don't have any. They're not going to get 130-plus points, and there's going to be a drop-off. But I still see them as a very good team and a very solid team that's going to be a strong team in the Atlantic Division. When you talk about Tampa Bay, it's not just the injury to Vasilevsky. It's how many good players, solid contributing players have departed the organization in the last number of years. And it's going to catch up with you at some point in time. The Florida Panthers barely made the playoffs last year. Yeah, I know they went to the Stanley Cup final, but with the injuries to Montour and Ekblad, I think both those teams could miss the playoffs. And Detroit, I don't think is ready to be in the playoffs. Buffalo has to improve their defensive play. I think they're a good young team. Montreal's not going to make the playoffs. The team I'd be watching if I'm in the Atlantic, the Ottawa Senators. I think the Ottawa Senators could be this year's New Jersey Devils. If I said to you at this time last year, Jason, everybody should be worried about the New Jersey Devils, people would have probably scoffed. Well, the New Jersey Devils not only had more points than the Toronto Maple Leafs, they went from 69 to 112. The Ottawa Senators had 86 points last year. I think the Ottawa Senators are primed to take a big step forward. And if I'm anybody in that Atlantic division and I got to play them in the first round of the playoffs, I'm not happy because I think they got everything you need. I know Pinto's not signed where Josh Norris is at, but I think that team is primed to do what the Devils did last year.
As the preseason comes to an end, Craig, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on early Connor Bedard.
Well, I'm going to, it was a couple of years. It wasn't a couple of years. It was the spring of 2022. I was talking to John Paddock, the former GM and coach in Regina and longtime coach and executive in the NHL and WHL. And he said to me, the thing about Connor is he's been under the spotlight since he was 12 years old. And there's been no spotlight too bright for him. And he's just shone brilliantly all the way through that. I know he's on a team that isn't very good in Chicago, but as John reminded me at that time, he came to a team in Regina that was the worst team in the Western Hockey League, and all he did was dominate. And, you watch Connor, the hockey sense is off the charts. We know how great his skills are. If he had a little bit more talent around him, he might be able to put up a little bit more points. But I think Connor is going to have a terrific season. If you're asking me who I think the Rookie of the Year candidates, I'd put Bedard and Logan Cooley as the two guys. I think they're the two players early on that can put up create the offense, put up the numbers. But I think Connor Bedard's going to be an impact player. But the other thing that I found with Connor, he's a quick learner. And the NHL doesn't afford you opportunity to kind of dip a toe in. You got to learn quick. And I think that serves Connor Bedard very well.
Craig Button joins us on Sports 1440. What about Fantilli, Craig? I want to say this off. I don't have high expectations because I think being a teenager is really hard in the NHL. It's been proven. But what do you make of Fantilli, and what's kind of your expectations for him in Columbus?
I think he's got a chance to be a real solid player, and he'd probably be the third player I would have, and maybe a dead heat with him and Leo Carlson. Because Leo Carlson, we lined up in the game, the preseason game, the last preseason game, with Zegras on the left wing and Troy Terry on the right wing. That sets up a player pretty good. I don't think Fantilli has that opportunity in Columbus. You have John Goudreau, and you talked about, but they're trying to see if Line can play in the middle. I don't think there's enough talent around Adam Fantilli, and I think that Adam's going to go through some of those periods where the Columbus Blue Jackets, they might start him on the wing, they might have him in the middle, everything that goes with it. Adam's ready for the NHL in terms of physical play, and physically he's ready, but I think there might be a little bit more growing pains for Adam Fantilli than is going to be for Connor Bedard. And for Leo Carlson, who played in the Swedish Elite League last year and certainly has a good surrounding cast on his line, if that's how they proceed, it just gives him a little bit of an edge ahead of Fantilli. You're right, Jason. The number of teenagers that have excelled in the league at this age, and we'll talk coming out of the draft, 18-year-old players. There's not very many that have done that. But I do think Bedard can do that. Cooley dominated college hockey last year, was dominant at the World Junior Tournament for Team USA. So that's why I have him and Bedard 1-2 in the Calder Trophy race. Fantilli is a driver. Carlson is somebody that's got a lot of maturity to his game. So those players, I think, will have periods of success, but I think it'll be a little bit harder with the team. And none of those players are on good teams. But I think that individually they can hold their own in the National Hockey League. I think they're ready. I think they're ready for the NHL. But I do put Bedard and Cooley a notch above both the other two.
Craig, there are some interesting teams: Buffalo, Ottawa, Detroit. People think maybe they can move up, and obviously somebody has to move down. In the West, Vancouver last year obviously didn't play to the level they wanted. Goaltending played a big factor. Calgary missed by 2 points despite terrible goaltending, really, from Markstrom. 17 overtime losses. Huberdeau was well below what he could be. I'm not saying he's a 115-point guy, but geez, he probably should at least be an 80-point player. What do you make of the changes in Vancouver and Calgary, and do you see those teams being playoff teams?
Well, let me start in Vancouver, and I'll finish in Calgary. think about last year when the Vancouver Canucks started out. Wasn't there a lot of hope for the Vancouver Canucks just like there is this year? There was. Bruce Boudreau nearly got them in the playoffs the year before. Bruce, there it is. And then we saw what ended up happening. They weren't very good. Defensively, they weren't very good. So, you bring in a new coach. Rick Tocchet, talks about trying to prove. Listen, they brought in Carson Soucy. They brought in Ian Cole. They made a trade last year for Philip Polona. So you're improving incrementally in terms of your blue line. And those are steps in the right direction for the Vancouver Canucks. Make no mistake about it. You have Quinn Hughes as the number one defenseman. I think Roenick can be can play in your top two pairs. After that, all they got is a collection of bottom pair defensemen. That leaves you two defensemen short. And two defensemen in this league, in this specific division, is a strong Pacific division, is too many. So, I know Demko's good. I know how good their offense is. I think Rick Tocchet's going to have an influence on the team. But Bruce Boudreau did it. Travis Green did for it. Until they get better defensemen, I don't think they can compete for a playoff spot or secure one. Maybe they can compete for one, but I don't think they're good enough. And they've made incremental improvements, but not good enough in the Pacific Division. The Calgary Flames had a year where, we can talk, they have 22 losses in overtime or shootout. That means they fell short by one goal. They couldn't find a goal in those moments. So they have enough talent. Their blue line is good. Their defensive play last year was good. Markstrom had a tough year. The friction that was in that organization last year with Daryl Sutter as their head coach was significant. It was everywhere. It was in every corner of the organization. Daryl's not there anymore. And I think that in and of itself will be significant. Yeah, Huberdeau's not going to get 115 points, but you look at where he performed in previous years up until coming there, one of the best in the league. And I think he'll get back to 80, 85 points. Kadri will have a better year. Mangiapane will have a better year. And the blue line is still really good. Markstrom will have a better year. I have the Flames in the playoffs. And I think they'll be fighting for third place in the division. I have Vegas and Edmonton 1-2, but I think between LA and Calgary, that's the fight for the third spot. The other one I think will get the wild card. So I have 4 from the Pacific for sure in the playoffs next year, and Vancouver isn't one of them.
Ooh, all right. See, and I agree with you that there was lots of excitement going into Vancouver last season. I do think the injury to Demko played a major factor in their season. We'll see if they have as many distractions as they had last year. But I look at Seattle, Craig, and I think Seattle had an unbelievable year last year for them. It was amazing, despite having goaltending. Like they had an .890 save percentage and they still had 100 points, which is crazy. For how good the rest of their team was. I think Seattle's susceptible to be getting caught. I agree with you. I have Calgary in. I have Vancouver actually catching Seattle. And for the first time ever, there'll be 5 Pacific teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, Seattle, I don't think you can dismiss Seattle. And again, you talk about the goaltending. They play fast. They play a really good style of play where they apply pressure on opponents, and that gave them some success. But when your goaltending is off and you're taking advantage in other areas, those margins, if the goaltending improves a little bit, but you fall off in another area, it's got to balance out. And it's tight in the Pacific Division. And certainly, Seattle had a great run. I mean, they beat Colorado in the first round of the playoffs. So I'm not dismissing them, but I like the word susceptible.
Craig, one last one for you. I know it's a long ways away, but and Edmonton fans probably won't care about it, but there's lots of people out there. Who are some of the I know the Finnish defenseman got injured. That kind of sucks because he was rated in the top 5 and he's out now 4 months. But who are some of the guys in the Western League that hockey fans who love the draft should be paying a close attention to that could be high picks?
Well, let me be real quick here. You're reaching me tonight. I'm in Plymouth, Michigan. I'm watching the USA National Team Development Program. Cole Eiserman is an elite goal scorer. But Macklin Celebrini from the Lower Mainland playing at Boston University. I mean, to me, it's him and Eiserman for first overall. Interestingly enough, the West they got a number of late birthdays, and that aren't eligible for this year's draft that are going to come up next year and be, really strong candidates. But Berkeley Catton, who plays in Spokane, I mean, he was brilliant for Canada at the at the Wanye Gretz. He was excellent on a bad team last year in Spokane. He started out just like he did. He's such a cerebral, smart, skilled player, and there's no question. I mean, for me right now, he's the best player in the Western Hockey League. Ryder Ritchie, who plays in Prince Albert, really, really a good player, a scorer, drives play in a real significant way. Caden Lindstrom, a big, strong, powerful, with skill centerman that plays in Medicine Hat. Those types of players, Jason, as you well know, when you're 6'4", 215 pounds, and you got skill and you got drive and you got a little bit of edge, those players don't last very long in a draft. And Caden Lindstrom might be the guy that might find his way right up into that upper tier of players. And that upper tier of players, I just mentioned two of them, Celebrini and Eiserman. Demidov is a terrific player. Helenius from Finland is a terrific player. Levshunov, the defenseman, is going to play at Michigan State. Lindstrom could find his way up there because of everything that he has. And then after that, it might not be as deep a year. The young player up in Prince George right now, Pekarsik, played at the Edge School last year. He's leading the Western Hockey League in goals and points. And it's really impressive to watch him. And he might be that player that just takes that steps really significantly forward. Like not on the radar early on, but he has put himself clearly on the radar. Charlie Ellick, who plays out in Brandon, a defensive type defenseman. Those would be the 5 players that I would say right at this point in time are going to, from the Western Hockey League that have put themselves, probably what I would say in the spotlight category of players to watch.
Awesome stuff, Craig. We appreciate it, my man. Have a good one.
I will. You have a good one, too.
That's Craig Button from TSN. Joins us every Friday. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports 20.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
How exciting is it to have Sports Talk Radio back in Edmonton?
Tie game, bottom of the ninth, the full count. The kick, the pitch. It's high, it's far, it is gone. Walk-off home run.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Edmonton Kubota is excited to welcome back Sports Talk Radio, Sports 1440. We'll be dialed in for every minute. Get it done, and then some at Edmonton Kubota. All compact BX tractors on sale with 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by on 128th Ave or visit EdmontonKubota.com.
Come into Jiffy Lube for a Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change and receive a $20 digital gift card to one of over 30 merchants, such as Cineplex or Bass Pro Shops. For a location near you, visit JiffyLubeService.ca. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
At Fountain Tire, save big during our Road Ready sales event until October 21st. Who wouldn't want up to 25% on select tires and a bonus of $50 off any service? A lizard, maybe? Or a ghost? Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
Since 1987, Ram Elevators and Lifts has been raising the bar and more by manufacturing superior elevators for both residential and low-rise commercial buildings. What drives them? A vision of accessibility, because they know that an elevator or lift is more than just a mechanical device. It's the freedom to go where you want. Ram's North American-made elevators, starting as low as $32,900, are rated as the best residential elevators by Forbes magazine. Grounded simplicity, elevated design. Click on trustram.com.
You'll absolutely love the new and app-approved Booster Juice app. Download it today and start earning Berry points for app-amazing rewards. Apply your points for all of your Booster Juice favorites for free. From booster balls to smoothies, snacks, and combo deals, even digital gift cards. Plus, receive personalized offers that appeal directly to you. The new and app-approved Booster Juice app. More than just online ordering. Download it today. Details at boosterjuice.com.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
Ours costs less than Wetaskiwin.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell, from LED lighting audits and retrofits to design, built, distribution system. eWell services can give you the edge you need to impress your clients. eWell, EWEL.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Pause of Friday continues on. Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz with you. Brandon Douglas, the Duke, filling in as a con man. Off early for the Thanksgiving weekend. He has a big Elks watch party that he is hosting tonight. So, Elks, of course, taking on the first place Toronto Argos. A real tough test for the green and gold, and they got to win to keep their extremely slim playoff hopes alive. They need to win all three and hope Saskatchewan loses all three. So, it's possible, not likely, but it's mathematically possible.
But their season's had a surge. We were sitting here talking about losingest team since the history of the ball was invented. And now we're talking about slim playoff chances. They've turned it around to some degree.
They have. Oh, yes. No, their second half has been infinitely better. So at least like fans of the Elks are like, okay, you know what? I got some reasons to think that next year can be better. So that's good. Let's get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick. It's Midnight Madness tonight. Okay. The stores don't open until 5 o'clock. They're open from 5 to midnight tonight, and you have massive savings across the board. So if you're ever considering to be a late night shopper, tonight's the night at The Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Question number 1 for you guys as the regular season quickly approaches. What is your biggest question or concern with this rendition of the Edmonton Oilers?
Bottom 6 scoring. I mean, we know the top dogs are going to deliver and then some. But what are the bottom 6 going to bring to the table? That keeps me awake at night on odd numbered days.
That's fair. I think, honestly, to me, for the Oilers, it has to be how consistent will their goaltending be? And it doesn't have to be great. If it's consistent, even if it isn't, I think the Oilers, look, they finished second in the division last year and had I can't remember, 107 points, whatever it was, 109. And Jack Campbell had an 888. So they're good enough to overcome it, but that to me is probably the main thing to watch for.
Question number 2. If you were setting the over-under for Connor Brown points this year, where would you be putting that line at?
Ooh, that's a really good question. 43 points, I think, is his career high. Obviously, everything hinges on being healthy. Now, really, if you look at his career, I think he missed 2 games in his first 6 seasons. So the guy's being healthy. Last year, he had an unfortunate injury, and he cost him the whole season other than 4 games. So I don't really think he's injury prone. So I'm going to go off of the believing he's going to be healthy. I'm going to put it at 56.5.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
I'd anywhere in the 40s, I'd be happy. I think that's a good season out of him.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think Brown and if Kane, I think that line is I think they're going to be pretty good. I like the Brown's a really smart player. He's got good enough finish, and Kane's a shooter. That trio stays healthy, I think it'd be pretty dangerous.
Question 3, lots of football on this weekend with several CFL games, including that big one you guys talked about tonight in Vancouver. Is there a football game, CFL or NFL, that you are most interested in this coming weekend?
I want to see if the 49ers can be 5-0 with Brock Purdy as the quarterback. It's quite a storyline in the league where you're paying top dollar for quarterbacks to move teams, that this guy can come in and Mr. Irrelevant, he's got them to 4-0. It's no joke.
He's never lost a regular season game.
This can continue forever in my mind.
Yeah. I like that one on Sunday. Elks game. I just want to see where the Elks stand up tonight. It's pizza night at the Gregor household. So I get home. I got the game on PVR. So I'm not going to see what's going on. I get home. My son, he likes to watch the games now together. It's great. He's at that age. So I'm going to sit down and watch the Elks Argos. I want to see how the offense, if they can run the ball like they have lately against the Argos, this will be, we'll show that, hey, you know what? The Elks, they might be someone to reckon with next year.
Nobody's taken a close note on the game in London, England again this week. Jacksonville, Buffalo, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time start.
Yeah, but there's no Toy Story channel with it.
Did you watch
That's the only way you like your...
Riggs?
Yeah, I watched. My son was quite intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Right. And because he's kind of like, well, what do you mean, Dad? And I'm trying to explain it to him. I'm like, let's just watch it, because I'm doing a terrible job explaining this, because obviously you'd seen Toy Story, quite liked it. And they've done that before. I don't know if you've watched the NFL games, Wanye or not, when they have, it's all superimposed, and it makes it more kind of cool and fun, and not just for kids. I'm an adult. I was watching. I was like, that's pretty funny. Like when they're, you show, what's his name? Lawrence, the one time he's running and all of a sudden he's got like jets on his feet on the screen because he's going faster. So it's, it was better than the blue puck. I'll say that.
So you're telling me that the way you like to watch your football is at 7:30 in the morning from London, England, if it's a cartoon.
Well, no, I'm just saying this weekend it won't be as intriguing because it's not a cartoon. It was, and we were in a hotel after a wedding and my son was up, so there's nothing else to do. So we watched.
Fair.
It is Thanksgiving this weekend up here in Canada. What is the best part of a traditional Thanksgiving dinner?
You got to go leftovers for an extended period of time after.
It's a good answer. But for me, pumpkin pie, homemade pumpkin pie, and fresh whipped cream. You get it fresh. The Duke can understand this, being a farm guy. Fresh whipped cream, fresh from the cow, is unbelievable. It's so much better than the stuff you buy in the store.
Homegrown pumpkins for the...
oh, yes.
You pulling those out of Carius's garden, or you grow them yourself?
No, my mom has some at the farm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hypothetical Friday. If you could travel in time once, would you be going forwards or backwards, and to what year?
That's a real head scratcher. You got to go forwards in time and get some information and come back and profit off of it. Who wins the next game in Jacksonville of Jacksonville and London? And what cartoon are they playing?
You're gonna be Biff. In Back to the Future.
Exactly. Just give me one XFL game score I can bet on when I return to the past.
Oh man. So I would like to go back in the past to a time where, to me, I really like the the 60s because of the music. I would just want to go there. I'd want to go to one of the dances that they had there, because you know what? When we see our dancing today, it's fine. It's just different. And that old school, like that era, to me, man, the cars too. Cars are pretty sweet. So I'd like to go back to the 60s just for a time. Like, it would be very simple. Obviously, we wouldn't have the technology, right, that we have today. So I would want to go back for the music, the dancing, and the cars.
I'm imagining you pulling up to 1960s on the rocks, dressed like Austin Powers in like a roadster, being like, oh, I got one night in the 60s, baby.
Yeah. Oh, buddy, that'd be unbelievable.
That'd be unbelievable.
God.
I want to go back in time now to watch that. That's what I want to do with my wish.
What about you, Duke?
Backwards seems the better choice, and who knows what the future holds. Originally, when Connor asked me this out when we were prepping at the bar here, I said, how do we know what year the sun is going to implode?
We do.
Jump right to then just to see it. Like, if like, what is that going to actually look like for us here on Earth?
Could be crazy.
But otherwise, going backwards, 70s, 80s, I love 80s, 90s country music. That's my go-to. So like a lot like what you said with going back and checking out some of the scenes and stuff to see, George and Keith and Garth in their prime and stuff out on stage. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Garth could rock it. There's no doubt about that. Hey, fellas, can hear you all the way downtown in Calgary. Much better. We couldn't pick up 1260 from Mike. Well, drive safe, Mike. We like it. Like it a lot. Before we go, do you want to go to the Oil Kings? We have a suite. No, sorry. 4 loge seats to Monday afternoon, Thanksgiving Monday. They've moved the time to noon. To noon start on Monday. 4 loge seats. If you want to go, text in right now, 833-401-1440. Put your name, your email. That's it. Your name and your email, and the Duke will pick a random winner, and we will send you those 4 loge seats for Monday. Make sure you can go first. We'll give you time. We'll pick a winner after the break, so you got lots of time. Make sure you can go. We don't like sending tickets and then not using them, because that's a big waste. We have a rule. Don't waste the tickets. So there you go. Let's get to Brandon Douglas and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton Kubota. They're so excited that Sports Talk Radio is back. They have a great deal right now on all compact BX tractors. 0% financing for 84 months. Shop now at EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers wrap up their preseason tonight as the Seattle Kraken are in town. Puck drop in that one set for 7. Elsewhere, Pens and Buffalo. Islanders host the Devils. Preds take on the Hurricanes, and Flames are in Vancouver. Week 18 in the CFL. The Elks are in Toronto to take on the Argos. Kickoff set for 5 o'clock from the Ontario capital. Later tonight, the Lions host the Bombers. That one going 8 p.m. in Vancouver. Saints are at home hosting the Calgary Canucks in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Puck drop at 7. More action in the AJ as the Crusaders are in Fort Mac. Brook takes on Drayton Valley. Canmore in Brooks. And Olds battles Bonnyville. The Golden Bears hockey team get going tonight down at the Claire Drake, 7 o'clock. Mount Royal in town. Rematch will go Saturday night from Calgary. Flipside, Pandas hockey team is in Calgary tonight and will be at home tomorrow, also at 7. Chicago Bears have traded Canadian wide receiver Chase Claypool to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for a 2025 pick swap. Claypool recently ruled out of the Bears' Week 5 game against the Commanders after being asked by the coaching staff to stay home in Week 4. Randy Gregory is on his way to the Bay Area. San Francisco 49ers set to acquire the veteran outside linebacker from the Denver Broncos, along with a 2024 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2024 6th-round pick. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and check in with Alan Mitchell, Low Tide, for the Oil Report.
CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free Radio Player app and listen wherever you go.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
How exciting is it to have Sports Talk Radio back in Edmonton?
Tie game, bottom of the ninth with a full count. The kick, the pitch. It's high, it's far, it is gone. Walk-off home run.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. Edmonton Kubota is excited to welcome back Sports Talk Radio, Sports 1440. We'll be dialed in for every minute. Get it done, and then some at Edmonton Kubota. All compact BX tractors on sale with 0% financing for 84 months. Stop by on 128th Ave or visit edmontonkubota.com.
What you eating there?
Oh, just a Leon's $10,000 shopping spree in a Chevy Colorado.
How do you plan to get all that from a Big Mac?
Monopoly Double Play.
Monopoly Double Play?
First, I peel on pack, then I peel an app. 2 ways to play and win.
So basically, you're potentially holding the most lucrative Big Mac ever?
No, I'm potentially eating the most lucrative Big Mac ever.
Now you can double play at McDonald's for more ways to win millions of prizes. While supplies last, chances of winning change as prizes are claimed. Chances of winning McD's app prizes based on time of code entry. See rules at participating McDonald's in Canada or at mcdpromotion.ca.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Andy Akel at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
This is Brent from Fortis, Alberta. Still keeping the power on in our community. I'm actually climbing the poles that my dad put up back when they dug the holes by hand. There's been so much change since then, like solar and wind and powering EVs. But one thing has remained the same. Fortis Alberta empowers Albertans by providing safe and reliable electricity. We're the line that connects us all. Learn more about your modern power grid at fortisalberta.com.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Can you believe that summer is over and fall is here? With that in mind, we are offering free furnace upgrades from Daikin, should you be looking to get a new furnace. This means getting a better model of furnace that provides you greater comfort at a lower price. Plus, Daikin has the best warranty in the business. There's never a better time to get a new Daikin furnace from Weiss Johnson. We know how important a good furnace is in Edmonton, so don't procrastinate as this is a limited time offer. Visit wjheats.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310-GLASS or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday, 1 hour to go, baby. Elks and Oilers both playing tonight. Of course, Elks taking on the Argos, and the Oilers are hosting the Seattle Kraken. McDavid, Draisaitl, Nurse, Bouchard, Campbell, Hyman, Kane, Brown. Lots of the main guys. Probably better to say who's not playing. McLeod's not playing. Ekholm's not playing. Both skated today, and both are hopeful to be ready for Wednesday. Dylan Holloway's not playing. He's fine. He's just getting a night off because they want Ernie, Lavoie, and Peterson all to get in as they are battling for that final roster spot for the Edmonton Oilers. And Brett Kulak also not playing tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. He didn't skate. So Kulak's health right now, we'll see. If we were going to NFL, would he be questionable? I'm not sure. But didn't skate. Hasn't skated since, I don't think he's skated since Monday. So You don't know. He might be not ready for game 1. So we'll see how that goes. Now, keep in mind, for the Edmonton Oilers, they'll have a 21-man roster unless they can put someone on LTIR who has a significant salary cap. And a guy like Brett Kulak would fall into that category. I'm not saying he's LTIR. I definitely don't think they want him to be. He doesn't want to be. So I'm just saying that's the only way they could have more than 21 players. The only way. So there you have it. Gregor Show, as always, is presented by our title sponsor, playalberta.ca, where to get in the game. You want the boost bets? They're lots of fun on NFL. They'll be doing lots on the NHL this year, so you can have lots of fun with those. And if you just want to play and get lucky, potentially $50 million tonight. Lotto Max, playalberta.ca. Let's get to the Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction. They just want to say on a positive Friday, apologies for creating traffic headaches. They're working on some pretty high-profile areas like the Yellowhead, Stony Plain Road, and it's getting better all the time. So just be patient. Don't get frustrated. People in construction want to get home just as quickly as you do. It's GS Construction, as Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, we should have a celebration tomorrow. Maybe we should pop the champagne. It's the final preseason game. Thank goodness. 8 is far too many. If you look at tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, I guess let's start with, Kulak. He's not even skating. Ekholm's not playing. McLeod's not playing. Are you remotely concerned about the health of the Oilers when the season begins next Wednesday?
I'm not overly. I'm seeing a little bit of this around the league, and I wonder if it's got something to do with how hard guys are going here. Like how much skating is being done. Obviously, they train hard all summer, and then they, captain skates here started like September 6th? Like that's a month ago, man. And then training camp, and we haven't even played a game till Wednesday. So maybe this is, what? We may look back on this, Jay, and say, what are we all going so hard so early for? And I don't even start me on 8 preseason games. What a joke that is.
Yeah, it is terrible. It's complete. I'm with you, man. I think it's ridiculous. Do you think the decision's being made, or do you think the play of Peterson or Lavoie? I'm sorry, I just don't have Adam Ernie on the same level as those two. Do you think something could change tonight, or do you think the decision's made on who's staying?
No, it's to me, it's got to be made already. I'm not, is Ken Halley going to watch the game tonight? Of course, he's going to watch it closely and see what happens. But I don't see how that decision's still hanging in the balance. Because you could, if you go one way, if you try to send Lavoie down and you lose him, the game's over. You've lost him. And I'm not saying for sure they lose him, but the possibility exists. If you go the other way, you can send Peterson down. You're not losing him. If Lavoie 2 weeks in, if you don't like what's going on, if he's not cutting the mustard, then you can make the move then. But if to me, that's Lavoie's earned the spot. You've invested in Lavoie since, what was he drafted in 19 in the second round? And you got 4 years on this kid. You put a second rounder on him, and he's delivered. So I don't see how you don't keep him on the team. At least give him a shot to play some games in October, Jay.
Yeah, I think it might even be an 18 draft now that I say that. But either way, I see. I know what you're saying. And there's a lot of invested equity in Raphael Lavoie to this point, right? So you want to kind of see potentially what he can do.
Yeah, for sure. That's why you draft and develop guys. That's why a guy like Lavoie, he should have more, not more opportunity, but given it, he should win the tie with Peterson. Peterson's just a guy you signed off the free agent market. You didn't invest anything in him. You got him signed for 2 years. You're not losing on waivers. B, he's going to play for you if you want him. So to me, Lavoie's been every bit as good. The whole key to this thing is Janmark playing center. I had a long conversation with Janmark this morning. He says, I played tons of center growing up. He says, I'm very confident in winning my draws on my strong side. He says, I got to do a little work on my weak side, but he's going to play in a line with Derek Ryan, and he's going to take all those draws on Janmark's weak side. So to me, there's your line. Lavoie on one side, Ryan on the other, Janmark in the middle. Let's play hockey here. Let's go.
We were trying to figure out earlier, Spec, what reasonable expectations are for Connor Brown. What would you look for him in the next coming up season? What would you think is reasonable from him?
Well, I mean, he's playing with Connor McDavid. So, normally reasonable expectations for that player with his history of production is a 22-goal season, something like that, right? That's the kind of thing I'd expect from him. But he's playing with McDavid. McDavid's going to put it on his tape for most 82 games. Who knows, man? The guy could score 35 goals playing with Connor McDavid. Like, why not? The three guys in this conversation would get to 5. So, why not?
I think
35. I don't know.
I'm always hesitant, just based on the last few seasons. We've seen that just because you play with McDavid 5-on-5 doesn't guarantee you success. Now, I think Connor Brown is a better player than Yamamoto and a better finisher than Jesse Puljujärvi. So I think he will be able to do more. And I really, you know what? Evander Kane missed half of last season's Spec. And then in some of the games he played, he was coming off injury twice, especially that gruesome wrist injury. And then he broken ribs. So like Evander Kane to me is kind of the wild card in the Oilers' top 6. If he stays healthy all season, like he could have a monster year.
Oh, no question. I mean, I love the makeup of their top 2 lines because they've got a guy on each line who's a digger and who works net front in Hyman and Brown. I think that's an important person on every line. They got a guy who could, if they do dump it in and they have to retrieve it, they got 2 guys that are good at that. And then they got 2 guys that can shoot it a little bit. I wouldn't call Nuge a pure shooter, but his wrist shot's getting better and better. He scored a lot of wrist shot goals last year, and Kane could score from distance. So, and the 2 guys in the middle, you tell me, are McDavid and Draisaitl, or they're both past first 50-goal scorers. So figure that out.
Mark Spector joins from the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. The Seattle Kraken. This is what's nice about tonight's game, Spec, is the Kraken are coming in with almost their entire NHL lineup, right? Beniers is centering McCann and Eberle. They got Wenberg, Burakovsky, Schwartz, Rioni Gord with Bjorkstrand and Tolvanen, and there's their top 9. They're all dressed. And then they've got Tanev, who's going to be on their team, Carty on the left side. And then I think it's Belmar. It might be right, but I think it's Belmar. Speaking to some of the Seattle reporters, that's who they think is in. And then Larson, Dumoulin, Schultz, Alexiak, Borgen. The only defenseman who's not playing because he's in the same boat as Ekholm is Vince Dunn. He's been banged up and he did skate today, but he's not ready. Like this is I know it's preseason, so I don't know what the intensity will be, but this is without question the closest NHL roster the Oilers have faced all preseason. And I'm going to watch now tonight, Peterson, Lavoie, and Ernie, now that they're going every shift against NHL guys.
Yeah, there's a few jumps, right, during every NHL season. There's a jump after the first 4 preseason games because all the big boys start getting mixed in. Then there's a jump maybe for this game or certainly for game 1 of the NHL season. There's another jump in competition level. And then there's another jump in mid-November. Right in the middle of November, once everybody's been playing, everyone's up to their peak, they're as good as they're going to be, they're all up to speed. There's another jump coming in mid-November. I'm telling you, I've watched it for 30 years. So yeah, that's why we see young players. That's why we have guys like Ty Ratty in our vernacular, right? Ty Ratty was really good in the preseason.
He was the answer one year, Spec.
What's that?
He was the answer that one year. The answer to all of our questions was Ty Ratty.
Yeah, until we got to November. Then he was the question.
True. That was the question. What did we see in Ty Ratty was the question.
Yeah. Well, so my point is this. Lavoie has performed exceptionally well through this first part. You're right, Jay. I want to watch him tonight, and then I want to watch him in the first 10 or 12 games. And that's why if Peterson's on the farm and ready to go, and Lavoie plays the first 12 games, and all of a sudden you go, he kind of looks slow, or geez, he's not getting any chances. Well, then you make the swap then.
Yeah. No, and that's totally valid. And I think that's where they're going. Now, on the blue line tonight, it's going to be Gleason with Ceci, and you have Desharnais with Broberg. So it does seem, if everything's healthy, that it's going to be Ekholm with either Broberg or Desharnais, and they want to keep Ceci and Kulak together. I don't mind that situation. I just wonder, like Cody Ceci, which Cody Ceci are we going to get? The one 2 years ago, Cody Ceci was excellent. Like he had a really good year. And then last year, not so much. So I don't know if he can be the player he was 2 years ago, but if he can kind of find a middle ground, then they'll be pretty happy.
I think Cody Ceci playing less minutes in the third pairing role has got a way better chance of being the good Cody Ceci than playing up with Nurse and trying to match his 25 minutes against the best players in the NHL, right? I think this is a soft landing for Cody Ceci. He's got a good partner in Kulak. Listen, if Kulak and Ceci are my first pair, I'm going, we're not good enough. If they're my third pair, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't mind that, right? These guys are my third pair. That's not a bad third pair. Look around the league at everybody's third pairings. These are two veteran guys who can both play some. They're not bad players. So I like that pairing. There's only one place on the Oilers defense where you really say, I wonder what's going to happen. And that's whoever, if Ekholm's going to play with Broberg. And I really, really sense that's the game plan. I know they're not pushing Desharnais out, but to me, the game plan is let's use the Ekholm experience and see what we can do with Broberg if he can follow Bouchard's path. That's the only question mark on this defense is how's Broberg going to do? Is he going to make it? Is he going to be Bouchard from last year? Or are we going to be in December and going, man, this kid's not cutting it? That's the only question for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'm still like Broberg is in the grand scheme of development. He's still so young. And defensemen, if you look at the history of the league, look at how many really good D-men got traded after 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the league. They go to somewhere else, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, look how good this guy is. And the team gave up on him too quickly. And so, what, Broberg, he might not be ready for top 4 minutes this year. Actually, I'd probably guess he isn't. But, it was interesting to listen to Ekholm today when he talked about the one thing he's really trying to instill in Broberg is when you get the puck, go with it, right? Like that's what we want in today's NHL, because Broberg, he might be their second best skating defenseman after Nurse. Like Kulak can really move too. So, pick your poison on which one you think is better. But I think the fact that Ekholm is trying to tell him, like, dude, you can't be worried about if you go up ice and then you lose it because you're fast enough to get back. Right. And so, that's just part of the development and feeling comfortable. And I think sometimes it's harder for a young D-man to break in on a good team. When you're on a crap team, like no offense to Ekholm and sorry, not Ekholm, but Klefbom and Nurse, the Oilers defense was so bad that those guys could make mistakes and it didn't matter because the team was bad and they had no one better to do it.
Yeah.
Broberg, if he makes too many mistakes, he doesn't get to play. So I think sometimes it's harder to break in.
Well, I think this Ekholm thing is exactly what we need here. Not only is he a veteran, solid, smart, well-spoken defenseman, like he's one of the, you talk to him all the time, Jay. He's just a smart, articulate guy. He's also a Swedish guy, which never hurts in that relationship. He's to me, you got a coach playing next to Broberg if those two play together, and he's talking to him on the bench right after the shift, not in the film room the next day. But right after the shift, he's saying the things he told us this morning. Hey, you had a chance to skate with it there. They're going to hop the boards. It's going to be fresh in the kid's mind. So I love the experiment. Again, I think Desharnais brings to this team some stuff they need. He's abrasive. He's big. He's tough. I don't mind a guy. If he's like coming in as your seventh, that's just great for me. But to me, Broberg, as a overall defenseman, has way higher ceiling than Desharnais, and it's time to start figuring out, pushing him towards that ceiling. I really think the Broberg thing and with Ekholm is exactly what the doctor ordered. If he can't make it next to Ekholm, then they're going to have to figure something else out. But that's his best opportunity, I think.
Spec, quickly, what are you expecting of the Elks tonight?
Well, they're down 7-0 as I watch a convert go, I think he missed. Yeah, it went through. So they're down 7-0 early. Toronto's a really, really good team. Let's put this in perspective, guys. Edmonton made their bones and they won those 4 games against teams that were in their ballpark, right? Who'd they beat, Jay? They beat Saskatchewan. They beat Calgary. They beat Hamilton. They beat Ottawa. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the teams that are no better, really, than Edmonton. They haven't been beating Winnipeg. They're not beating Toronto. They haven't been beating BC. So they're a second-tier team. God bless them. They're not 0-9 anymore, but they're not walking into Toronto to win this ballgame tonight. No chance.
Spec,
is that too negative for you?
No, I think it's realistic. Have a good weekend. And have a happy Thanksgiving. We will chat with you.
You too. And happy Thanksgiving, all listeners out there. Thanks for supporting us for this first month and a bit here. And let's have a nice long weekend and start the season next week, boys.
There you go. That's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Oh, who doesn't like Thanksgiving? I like Wanye's idea of make a lot of leftovers. Unbelievable. Leftover turkey sandwich. Oh, so good. Little salt and pepper, some mayonnaise. Unbelievable.
Thanksgiving could be a month if you wanted to.
It's true, actually. Yeah, I do love leftover turkey sandwiches. Like some leftover sandwiches aren't good. Leftover turkey sandwiches,
it's better.
Really good. Yes, I think that actually might be. It's like chili. Chili almost tastes better the second day.
It's like wine; it needs to age.
Yeah, it's true. It's got to just sit in the pot.
Oh,
I like it. We gave away the Oil Kings tickets. I think did we not, Brando? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Josh
is
our
going.
winner.
Awesome.
So
well, hey,
hopefully, it's a great time.
Yeah, there you go, Josh. And you know what? I like this. Tyler the Clone just text in that he can't use his Oiler game tickets tonight. So you know what? We're going to give those away right now. Text in with your name and your email if you 100% can go to tonight's game. We need your email. Spell it correctly because we're going to trust that it's right. And then we're going to email you the tickets. All right. Just text in with your full name and your email right now. Brandon will pick someone and you'll go. We'll come back. Low Tide will join us. We got Wanye's World and more on a busy Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca live on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
What's cracking at Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club? Kick off your week with unbeatable savings. Enjoy half-price golf from Monday to Thursday. Elevate your game without emptying your wallet. Book your tee time today. CattailCrossing.ca.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. United's annual Hockey Days sale is on now. Save up to 20% off on skates, 25% off on equipment, and 35% off on all Pro Stock sticks. United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
Amy from Halifax writes, Dear Canadian Tire, I'm hosting Thanksgiving for the first time. Help! Well, Amy, we don't mean to butter our own bread here, but Canadian Tire serves up a wide assortment of kitchen products. Brands like Paderno, The Rock, Cuisinart, and Lagostina will have your family gathering at your house every year. Amy, you are so brave. Get everything you need for Thanksgiving at Canada's Kitchen Store. Visit CanadianTire.ca or this week's flyer for the fall mega sale.
At JackpotCity.net, you can do amazing things with just one casino chip. Discover a world of incredible casino games with over 500 high-quality online slot games, including the world-renowned progressive jackpot slot Mega Moolah. Play for free at JackpotCity.net and get treated as a VIP 24/7. So visit JackpotCity.net today on your tablet, laptop, or mobile. Jackpot City, a whole world of casino games.
18 plus. Please play responsibly. This is not a gambling website.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Christensen Communities. Have a peace of mind knowing your loved one is in the best possible hands. Christensen Communities have safe retirement living options across the province. Now welcoming new residents. Visit cdlhomes.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll along. We, as in Gregor, Wanye Gretz, and you, and Tyler the Clone will be sending you the tickets. We'll pick a winner here in the next break, and boom, you'll be going to the game. Very nice. Now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo of Edmonton. First responders, medical workers, teachers, military, and veterans, you all qualify for $1,000 off your vehicle right now at volvoedmonton.com. Stop in, let them know. You'll get a great deal. As we welcome in the host of The Lowdown from noon until 2 p.m. weekdays here on Sports 1440. Alan Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide, joins us. LT, good afternoon. And here we are. It's a final preseason game, thankfully, but very close to full NHL rosters on both sides. A few injuries. The Oilers have no Kulak, no Ekholm, no McLeod. Holloway's getting a night off because he's played a lot. No Dunn for Seattle. But other than that, it's pretty full. Peterson, Lavoie, and Ernie. What would you need to see tonight that means Peterson would be the guy on the team?
I think Peterson's got his cannons pointed in the wrong direction. I like him, but even if he scores a goal and gets an assist, I think the role that they have for a center on this roster is more of a penalty killer, two-way type, more of a Sutter type. So I just don't know if there's space there. I think Lavoie is more likely to make the team with Janmark and Ryan taking face-offs on the fourth line. And Gleason has been, one thing I'll say about Brad Holland and the pro scouts and all, I guess, of the hockey side of the operation is they went out and got some guys who we didn't know. I mean, I know Lane Peterson a little bit, but Ben Gleason is a distant bell. I didn't have much information on him, and he has really played well. Like, not just well, nice showing by the minor leaguer. He's been good. So I think that Peterson unlikely to make the team. Lavoie is likely to make the team no matter what, and Gleason, I don't think he will make the team, but I think he's earned it.
Yeah, you could be right for sure. Like, Lavoie hasn't played poorly at all, and neither is Peterson. Gleason, you're right. Gleason has opened some eyes in camp. I'm not sure. Like, when I look at his size, like, to me, he's a guy that you want as a puck mover who can help your power play, but the Oilers don't really need that, right? And so that's, but he's a guy that, guess what? If you get injuries, you feel like, hey, can he slot in for 5, 6, 8 games? No problem. What I've found interesting, Al, is how much like he's leapfrogged over Niemelainen, and it hasn't even been close. Like, Niemelainen's not even playing the final 3 preseason games.
Yeah, it's true. And Gleason, he'll have to. You can see that he has some defensive lapses, or at least recognition problems. And the Oilers like big defensemen. I mean, Ken Holland has added a foot and about 20 pounds to every defenseman since he got here. Well, except for Nurse, but you know what I mean. And so, Gleason's probably Chris Russell size without the defensive acumen, but Niemelainen, I thought he played well early, and then he got a little banged up, and that's all it takes in preseason. It really is. And then you're down in the minors, and then maybe you get a call up, but it's tough. And it was a little bit unlucky for him, because I thought at some point he was playing well enough that he could be pushing, although I think he always came in as the number 8 guy. But to your point, and it's a good one, I don't think he's the number 8 guy now.
No.
I just want to put this on your radar, Low Tide. Gregor claims that even though the season hasn't started yet, he is done talking about Darnell Nurse's contract. He is finished debating with people if he's a good value play or not. So if you want to bug Gregor in the next few weeks, you got to just put a trap out there to get him to mention Darnell Nurse's contract.
Well, I agree with him. I'm tired of it too. I'm just so tired of the idea. Look, Darnell Nurse was underpaid for his entire career, and because they kicked the problem down the road so many times, he didn't have any RFA seasons to add into his UFA contract. So those are all UFA seasons. The Oilers did that to themselves. Two different GMs did. Darnell Nurse played it exactly as you would if you were extremely confident in yourself, and they, the best judge of defensemen is how much does the coach play the player. They play the hell out of Darnell Nurse, and they have for years. He's a very good defenseman, and I know he's overpaid, but only because they didn't have the RFA deals. If they had 4 RFA deals and 4 UFA deals, Nurse would be in the middle of a really good contract, and nobody would be bitching. But because they did it a different way, he's a target. I don't get it. I think he's a very fine defenseman, and the Oilers are lucky to have him.
Al, where do you sit on Calgary and Vancouver?
Well, I know that people are talking about Vancouver being a playoff team, and see it. I think they have made improvements, and I think Demko will be better. But there's a lot on that roster that is overpaid, old, slower, and I know why they're doing it. They've got a couple of young, really good players. Hughes and Pettersson. They're really they're heading into what should be a really competitive era for them. But I just think that roster looks a little bit like half baked and is marbled with a little bit too much at the expensive end and not delivering enough. And I think they might finish 9th in the conference. I think Calgary is closer. I think Calgary could make the playoffs, but they also have some problems, and they really need Huberdeau to pop. They really do. And Mangiapane is a very fine player, but he needs to step up. And Nazem Kadri, he's a little older. The Flames are expensive and old all of a sudden, and it all happened around the Kachuk deal. And I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're in the same ballpark as the key to the top end of the Pacific is Edmonton and Vegas, and then I do think there's a bit of a slide like LA, but I don't know whether they're going to be better than they were. And Seattle I like too, but I guess I put them in with Calgary and a little bit ahead of Vancouver.
Yeah, see, I actually have Vancouver making it this year because now, obviously, the caveats if Demko's healthy. But when Demko is in, man, that guy is so good. He covers up a lot of mistakes for your team. Quinn Hughes is pretty dynamic. Elias Pettersson. Seattle, I love what they did last year. They had the unbelievable, their fourth line. Look how many goals their fourth line scored, right? But none of them are here. They're all, Donato's gone. Geeky's gone. Sprong, they're all gone. And I don't think they can expect close to, I think they had 5-on-5, almost 40 goals between the three of them. 5-on-5 out for a fourth line. It's almost unheard of. So
it really is.
That's where I think that Seattle might struggle a little bit this year is that, everybody was healthy and everybody played great. But yeah, and I think Vancouver's got a little bit more top end talent. And I think that they seemingly have less distractions to start the year, Al. And I think that'll be a good thing for them.
Well, I think they've got a coach that they're responding to, and that is a big advantage for Vancouver. The other thing about Seattle is that they had more skill on that fourth line, and they lost some skill this year. I mean, I know that Yamamoto is there, but Yamamoto is somewhat similar to Eberle. Not the same player. Eberle is a more substantial player. I get that, but I think that the way it's set up right now for Seattle is because they had so much success, they couldn't bring everybody back. And we'll see. I think they're going to be a good team. But playoffs, I think it'll be between them and Calgary. And you throw Vancouver in there, and you could be right. I mean, they're top heavy in terms of skill. I just think that a lot of the older players that they still have are enough questionable that I don't know if Demko can save them.
Al, have yourself a wonderful weekend. Elks, how close do you think they can keep it tonight?
Well, I think, it's going to be tough, but I like the one thing I'll say about the Elks now is there's a reason to watch them. And I just got frustrated with it. It seemed like they'd play well, and then when the other team would just press a little bit, they'd fall apart. I feel like the Elks are worth watching all through a game now, and a lot of it is the quarterback, but they're getting a little bit of swagger, and it was unsettling to see a Jones team without that swagger. They're getting it back. I'd like to see them run through this last period of games here and win, a couple, and then at the end of the day, be able to look at the second half of the season and go, it was a hell of a job. Just build on that.
Enjoy it out. We will talk to you on Tuesday.
All right. Be good, boys.
That is Alan Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide, who joins us every Friday on the show. You can listen to him every day right here, Sports 1440 from noon until 2. We'll come back. We have Wanye's World, Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Brandon Douglas with you on a busy Friday afternoon. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 7th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes, born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Thinking about solar power? Action Electrical wants to eliminate your entire home or business power bill and keep more cash in your pocket. With effective paybacks in 5 to 9 years, give solar a chance with Action and put your lazy roof to work. Alberta is the second highest province for the amount of full sunlight hours, and with system life exceeding 25 years, solar power is like a McDavid draft pick. Still have questions about solar power? Contact the professionals at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Corporate Business Solutions will keep your multifunction office equipment happy. But don't take our word for it. Toner cartridges from far and wide have been raving.
I like it when they give me a shake, shake, shake.
500 out of every 500 sheets of paper say they love their experience in a new Konica Minolta office solution.
Get tickled as I flow through the machine.
With regular preventative maintenance, Corporate Business Solutions will keep your office equipment up and running by fixing your device before it breaks down. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me. Gonna get a deal from Legacy. Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
How low can they go? At Buy Low Foods, they can go way low. Get incredible savings on great products with the lowest buy. Only at Buy Low Foods.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero-gravity treadmills, and Normatec recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you. Sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And congratulations, Tasso. He was the winner from Tyler the Clone, going to the Oil game tonight. Also, Matt won an extra pair of Oil Kings tickets that we got donated to us by one of you lovely listeners. So I like it. People don't want to waste their tickets. That's fantastic. So Matt's going to go with his daughter to the Oil Kings game. And Tasso's taking his son to the Oilers game tonight, where there's lots of NHL players, so the kids will be pretty fired up either way. Thanksgiving game on Monday for the Oil Kings. Oil Kings are an exciting young team, so should be lots of fun. Let's get to Wanye's World now, brought to you by Action Electrical, family-run business for over 50 years. They keep evolving, expanding. They want to remind you that there's lots of the federal grants that you can get, up to $5,600 if you're looking to go solar in your house. They'll help you set it up and get the savings. ActionElectrical.net. Wanye's World.
It's game 33 of the pregame season, right? And that's fine. You're a little bit mad, Gregor. I love pregame, or preseason rather. I'm excited. What I want to talk about today is how are we going to keep our heads screwed on straight as Oilers fans? Because it's the new season. Hopes are running high. But for some Oilers fans, those early season hopes become toxic and they don't know how to manage themselves. We know how to cheer as underdogs here in Edmonton. We know how to complain. We know how to say we got screwed out of the play-ins back in 2020. But this is now going to be the fourth year in a row, conceivably, the Oilers are going to make the playoffs. By nobody's metrics are they an underdog. And how are we as Oilers fans going to manage an 82-game season without freaking out if the Oilers happen to go 1 win out of 5 in January or go on a cold streak here in November? 2 years ago, the Oilers got swept in the conference finals, and there are Oilers fans out there that will tell you that is a waste of a season. And yet they're in the top 4 teams in the league. Last year, they lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Golden Knights in the second round. And there are Oilers fans that will tell you that that was a waste too. How do we keep our heads screwed on straight, Gregor? And how do we keep our expectations high, yet not miserable for many Oilers fans throughout the year?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing I've learned. Some people are just Eeyores.
Yeah.
They like to complain. They're always going to complain. And I think it's nothing is a wasted year, right? There, you can choose to not learn from your adventures or what you've done in your life and just say, it didn't work out. Well, now it's brutal, right? Like Wayne Gretzky was the greatest player of all time. He won 4 Stanley Cups. Were all the other years of his career wasted? Of course not, right? And winning 4 is like the perfect storm, right? Like there's Alex Ovechkin's gonna be the greatest goal scorer of all time. He's won 1 Stanley Cup. Were all the other years wasted? No, it's hard to win, and it's actually harder now because there's 32 teams. Things are spread out more. If McDavid wins 1 cup, great. If he wins 2, unbelievable, right? But you probably shouldn't expect more than that because it's really hard to do. But it has been proven that not all teams, but most of them have some tough learning along the way. The Edmonton Oilers blew a 5-0 lead once in the 3rd period of a playoff game and ended up losing the series to the LA Kings, who they had like 46 more points than the Kings in the regular season. They didn't win the cup the next year. They won it 2 years later, right? Like there's lots of reasons why I can't. And here's the thing. There's no guarantee the Oilers, because now if you're frustrated from last year, I felt the Oilers kind of beat themselves. I firmly believe that. You look at their second periods, the minute and a half in game 5 was awful. All right. Then you look at game 6, go look at the first shift of the game. They gave up a goal in 25 seconds. And incorrectly, people claimed it was the defensive system. Go look at all the goals against in games 5 and 6. Had nothing to do with the defensive system. Matthias Ekholm putting the puck into the low slot 20 seconds in wasn't I don't think he could do that play again if he tried. Right? Kind of fan on it, whatever, goes right in the slot. Boom, Riley Smith one-timer. What are you going to do?
I was trying to forget that, Gregor. I've been spending the whole summer trying to wipe that out of my memory. Now it's right at the top.
I would disagree that anything's a waste because the Oilers, they were close. Look at their focus this year. There's something they learned from last year. They've chosen to take the negative and hopefully turn it into a positive. But again, there's no guarantee because you know what? That sucks or that's good about pro sports is there's one thing that is completely out of your control. And it doesn't matter how good of a team you build as a GM. Injuries are you can't predict when they're going to happen. And And like, look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won 60 games one year. And then Ekholm, not Ekholm, Hedman, their best defenseman, gets hurt late in the year, misses the final few games, is playing on one leg in the playoffs. Nope, they're out.
Look at the New York Jets in the Aaron Rodgers era.
Yeah.
7 minutes or whatever it lasted.
Yeah. So I got to find the proper quote. I got to find it for you because I don't want to butcher it. But I thought it was a really interesting quote that, where is it? I think I'll try to find it here. And it just talked about something. What could I say that would make you consider changing your mind? And if people say nothing, then you're like, okay, well, it's no point discussing it anymore. Right? Because if you can present actual data to them that says, hey, you know what? It's not a waste. Like, it was like all the people, Connor McDavid's never re-signing Edmonton. He hates it in Edmonton. Right?
No, he doesn't. He hates everything. That's his face.
But now I look at and I've said this. So even if the Oilers don't win the cup in the next 3 seasons, because there's no guarantee they will, they could go to the conference final. They could go to the cup final and lose. You never know.
I've seen it.
But in the next year, like this year, let's say they go to the conference final again, and they lose in Game 7 in overtime on an own goal.
Gregor, no.
Right? Does that mean Leon Draisaitl is like, I'm not re-signing
Just
here.
give me a minute to process what just happened.
Yeah.
Own goal.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
Game 7.
Steve Smith. It's happened. Just saying. You know, does that mean he's going to change? Like, what would have to happen? Because Leon Draisaitl is never going to get to play with a better player. There's no better. He can go sign something, but he's not going to get to play with Connor McDavid.
But there's going to be Oilers fans get to the end of their careers after having like naysayed them all the way along, and they're going to win cups. They're going to stay here till the end. They're going to retire together at center ice like the Sedins did. And those negative people are just going to go, oh, well, we're screwed next year then because they're done. Right? Like there's never a good outcome for some factions of our fan base, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I look at the Oilers, they should have a very good year. I would be stunned if the Oilers aren't first or second in the division. And actually, I picked them to win their division. I think they'll be good. But once the playoff starts, man, we have to talk about who's healthy because that's the number one thing. If the Oilers are healthy, I will say they got a really good chance. But what if 2 key players are injured?
Oh,
then it's harder.
And that own goal in Game 7 you talked about earlier.
Exactly. So,
son of a gun.
You never know. You never know.
Well, we'll go through it together, won't we, Gregor?
Yeah.
Here on 1440.
Yeah. So. Hey, guys, Kleiner says just in 82 games, the best 2 players in the world. It's magical. Now, if they win the cup, unreal from Rod Burner. And you're true, right? Like, there's 2 different things. You can't win the cup in November. It's impossible. Impossible. Now, you can technically lose it because if you lose all your games in November, you're probably not going to the playoffs.
Oilers win the cup. I'm just going to tell you right now, the next show I'm on of this wonderful program will be unintelligible. I will have the servers from Bubba Gum Shrimp bringing me beer buckets every 15 minutes and big shrimp
on
cocktails.
the Friday after they win the cup? Is that what you're
It'll
saying?
be a month-long celebration for me whenever it goes down.
Okay. Guys, Wanye's right. 95% of us are expecting a cup, and it'll be bedlam if we get a losing streak of 3+ games from Mike D.
What was the first thing he said there? In that
he says 95%
before
of them
that
are
part.
expecting
What did
a
he say
cup.
there?
Wanye's right.
Oh, that's the part I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
That's my man.
And you know what, though? It's okay to get a little upset if they lose a few games, as long as it's somewhat rational. Although I say that as a radio talk show host who sometimes irrational can be great because people get fired up. You want to have emotional swings. Like the Oilers, they're going to have a stretch. Well, I guess unless they're the Boston Bruins, that they're going to be up and down. Like the Oilers, when they won the cup their first year, they lost 11-0 in Hartford. Their first Stanley Cup winning year, they lost 11-0 in Hartford. Like, it would have been unbelievable to be a radio host and just open up the phone lines after that game. Because I couldn't imagine what fans would say when their team lost. And it's not like they didn't lose to, they lost to the Hartford Whalers, who have the greatest goal song of all time, but not much else.
My coworker, Tyler Yaremchuk, last year was spouting all these statistics about if you're not in the playoffs by American Thanksgiving, there's like a 99% chance you're not going to make it. And the Mighty Oil weren't in, and he'd written them off. And then they came roaring back, and he looked a fool yet again. And that was one of the highlights of the year for me, was him being wrong.
Well, there you go. A few more our text lines packed. I can't even get to all of them. Hey, guys, what if the other team's 3 goalies stone us? Well, hey, that will happen, Harry. If anybody would have told you at the start of the year, Aiden Hill would have a .931 save percentage in the playoffs and lead Vegas to the Stanley Cup, most people said, I will take that bet. What am I getting? Give me even money. I'll take that bet. Right? Like, that's what's great about sports. It's unpredictable. Honestly, who would have thought Aiden Hill would have done that? Who would have thought the Blues would have won in 2019 when they did? Right? Like, you don't know. That's what's great about it. Anybody saying the Oilers have to win is probably not. You would like them to win. They have a really good chance to win. Agree. Have to win. I can't agree with that. Like, there's no guarantee in pro sports, man. There is carcasses of really good franchises for decades that never won.
Top 3 most expensive baseball teams this season. None of them made the playoffs.
Yeah.
What more do you want from these people? You can't predict it.
I wish you could, though. Hey, guys, I think the Oilers win the Cup if Brossoit doesn't get injured.
Ooh.
Well, you might be onto something because it's true, right? Like, if Brossoit doesn't get injured and let's say they win that game, now it's 2-2. You know what? You're not going to Aiden Hill right away anyway because you're still like, hey, we're in the series. And then if you went to him, all of a sudden, now there's pressure on him because his team's down 3-2. It's a little bit different, right? Like the what-if scenario, you never know. But here's the other thing. The Oilers might have beat Vegas, and then maybe something would have happened in their next games in the following round. So who knows? But yeah, that injury to Laurent Brossoit changed the whole series. And sometimes an injury can change a series negatively, but it changed the series positively for Vegas.
I remember one Oilers series where a goalie injury was negative.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday. If that is the rematch this year in the Cup Finals, Canes and Oilers, as the bookend to 06, Gregor, the hole ripped in all of our hearts in 2006 seals again in 2023 when the Oilers face the Canes again with our new superstars, Connor and Leon. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
06 me is pumped to hear that this is how it turns out.
It would be good. Quickly, because you won't be here before the regular season begins. I got 3 questions for you. Where will the Oilers finish in the Western Conference?
First.
How many points does Connor McDavid have this season?
More than last season.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. And how many points does Ryan Nugent-Hopkins have?
I'm going to say that Nuge, like, he played out of his mind last year. To have an expectation of a 100-point season from the Nuge every year, I think it's not fair. He's setting the man up for failure. I would put him at between 90 and 100 points. He'll still have a great year. He just won't have
90. Okay.
Well, he's still the same guy as last year. I just don't think he's going to play out of his mind the entire 82 game season.
Okay. See, I think if Nugent-Hopkins gets you 80 points, you'd be doing
Sure.
cartwheels. Yeah. So we'll see.
I can't wait.
Have yourself a good weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Please don't drink and drive. Get home safe. Let's get to Brandon Douglas and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. If all of a sudden your furnace conks out, call them. There's no overtime charges. They'll come and fix it at any time. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night. Be safe. Enjoy the games.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers wrap up their preseason tonight as the Seattle Kraken are in town. Puck drop in that one set for 7 o'clock from Rogers Place. Elsewhere, the Pens are in Buffalo. Islanders host the Devils. Preds take on the Hurricanes, and the Flames are in Vancouver. Week 18 in the CFL. The Elks are in Toronto, currently taking on the Argonauts. Score at 10-1 in favor of Toronto in the middle of the second quarter. Alberta Junior Hockey League action. The Spruce Grove Saints are at home hosting the Camrose Kodiaks from Grant Fuhr Arena. That puck drop coming at 7 o'clock. Tons of other games, including Drayton Valley and Brooks, Bonnyville hosting Canmore, and the Sherwood Park Crusaders in Fort McMurray. Golden Bears hockey team get going tonight at the Clare Drake for their home opener, taking on the MRU Cougars. That game at 7. And the Pandas are in Calgary tonight. They will be at home at the Clare Drake tomorrow. Chicago Bears have traded Canadian wide receiver Chase Claypool to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for a 2025 pick swap. And Randy Gregory is on his way to the Bay Area. San Francisco 49ers set to acquire the veteran outside linebacker from the Broncos, along with a 2024 late round pick, 7th and 6th round picks going back the other way. Coming up on Sports 1440 is Universal Radio Network.